Alrighty, folks, welcome on into the Central Committee stream with your host Mike from PA. We are fucking live again, and we've got a lot of news, chat. You know, Hassan showed the collar of Kaya is not a shock collar. Surprise, surprise. And the response was coping, I think, and then the goalpost shift. It's important to understand something, chat. This is why people spread misinformation. Because even if you clear up the misinformation, people have anchoring bias. And they're going to be like, well, I dislike you now, so let me come up with a new reason. That's why being on the offense is superior to being on the defense. And, of course, as I've said before, Moist Critical is a scumbag and a right-winger. Like, it's been obvious ever since he did a hate video on iDubbbz for apologizing for using the N-word. And Charlie made a video going, if you were a person who liked the N-word jokes and laughed at that, there was nothing wrong with that. I want you here. So, like, guys, if you couldn't see it till now, you just didn't value black people being called the N-word. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you already fucked up. You failed your empathy test a long time ago. I've known Charlie was a piece of shit for years and years and years. Mike, when are you going to post your Francesca Hong interview? I mean, I have it as a highlight right now. And her name is not Jessica, it's Francesca. So I will publish it on YouTube soon. I don't know. The YouTube editors like to take their time. I always found it weird that people would trust a Florida man. Yeah. My first Mike was right moment. Of course I'm right. The thing about this is people do not like when someone is really and truly honest. They don't like that. Now, I'm not mean, but I'm honest. And a lot of people really don't like that. I mean, even people that I do like, you know, how do I put this? For me, friendship is a really precious word. I don't use it the casual way that Americans do. I've never liked the casual way that Americans use the word friendship. I like having a lot of friends, but having a lot of friends means a certain type of thing. Not what Americans seem to think. Americans seem to think being a friend is socializing, knowing someone's name, maybe knowing some biological, or biographical facts about them. Maybe they think it means a relationship of some kind. That's not what friendship is. And I think a lot of people assume friendship because having a friend, a real friend, is really, 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 really great. It's nice to have somebody who's just on your side generally. And it's nice to be on someone else's side. It's nice to have someone that you can trust. It's nice to have somebody that will help you lift the burdens of life. That's great. But most people are not interested in that. Being personable, being friendly. That's not friendship. That's a high bar. Did you meet Charlie when you were around his compound in Florida? I honestly don't remember because he's completely uninteresting in person and he's unremarkable. I'll be completely honest. It's like when I'm at an event, I think a lot of people, obviously it's a networking event, not really a what's the word for it? Like a hangout. This sounds so bad, but I'm just going to be honest. Most Twitch streamers, I have absolutely no interest in being their friend or even their acquaintance because they have absolutely nothing to offer and they know nothing. They have no life experiences and they're undereducated. But they're also arrogant. So it's like they're some of the least likable people I've ever met in my entire life. And the other thing is, I also understand how Twitch works. If I made friends with Moist Critical, it would do fucking nothing for me. I mean, maybe it would. He's so big that maybe that would help me. I'm not sure. Maybe Moist would help me. I don't know. But like, unless somebody is significantly larger of a streamer than me and their vibes check, it's not going to be a benefit either. So it's like, why am I faking being interested in somebody who I don't like? And like, Charlie has always been that person. He's a figure in the air, corpo. He believes in nothing. He just wants to affirm whatever the kind of sentiment of the Reddit or the internet is so that he could get some attention for it and make money, kind of like filter feeding. He has no desire in actually pursuing the truth or swimming against the tide. That's how you know he's a dishonest piece of shit. Because to always be on the side of the internet, He's the ultimate we did it Reddit guy. And that's all he wants to be remembered for. And as far as humor, what humor? Tell me your most famous Charlie joke. You want to watch someone funny, watch Stavi. I guarantee you'll crack up. You want to see somebody who's swimming against the current, watch Stavros. Stavros is somebody with a set of fucking balls. I just saw a video the other day talking about how Stavros is shitting on the stupid Austin, anti-trans right-wing comic shit. Maybe I'll show it to you. This is a side of somebody with fucking moral clarity. And when Stavros is one of the most moral people, you know you're in trouble. Northern Lion and Brennan Lee Mulligan seem like they're cool dudes. Brennan Lee Mulligan, there are people that seem cool, but I don't watch enough of their content because I'm a politics freak. Brennan left a massive phone bag for Zoran last night. Oh my lord. How are we not friends with this guy? Hassan, come on. Hassan, can you make friends with someone cool like this? Like, Jesus Christ, can we stop making friends with Charlie and Asmongold and start making friends with cool people like this? Like, god damn, dude. No more trade wrecks. Let's go our separate ways already. Brennan goes on interviews with tiny YouTube channels. Just reach out, Mike. I'll try. I'm not a D&D guy, but you will get Dr. Mike Israel's racial shit. Yeah, and you will yeah, I know. Fucking Christ. This sucks, actually. This is really bad. This is really about Hassan. This is actually about Hassan.
You know, you're not going to believe me, okay? But, like, I'm so offline. Malv will vouch for this. We have a normie friend who asked me today about Twitch drama. And then he linked me a thread, and I went, huh. So step one, I went, huh? And step two, I went, why are you a vice president at a chemical engineering firm reading live stream fails? You know, you're not going to believe me, okay? But, like,
That's about Hassan, for sure. And I think you need to understand something, like,
Hassan Piker, the other top streamers around him politically are like all conservative.
Yeah.
He is truly like a sin eater for the world. I don't know how he doesn't freak the out at mainstream reporters being like, this one man stand against the forces of reactionary conservatism. And the fact that he doesn't go, help!
He used reactionary correctly. Brennan Lee Mulligan used reactionary correctly. He used reactionary correctly. I need to hire a personal assistant just to harass Brennan Lee Mulligan.
Yeah, somebody else do this.
Anybody. Do you feel like you have a friend? Have you ever said something cool?
I do. I say it all the time, literally nonstop. There are others out there and they're growing. But as far as like the top content creators on the platform goes, yes, the politics of the environment that I'm in, whether it be YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, it is unimaginably hostile to progressive politics. The environment that I came into initially in the aftermath of Gamergate was also unimaginably hostile to progressive politics. But I knew that there were people out there that was like, I don't really with this neckbeard shit. But right-wing sentiment, especially post-Twitter purchase of Elon Musk, has exploded online so much that there will be an inevitable backlash. The pendulum will swing in the other direction, and as a matter of fact, it has started swinging in the other direction. That's why you see even like Lacey talking about ICE raids and how up it is. And we need more of that. We need more Tina Kittens speaking out against ICE raids and all the other up shit that this administration is doing.
Hassan Piker, the other top
It is my dream. Like, Brennan Lee Mulligan is cool as fuck. This is a guy with good values who doesn't forget where he came from, who focuses on creating an actual artistic work, impeccable vibes, treats women like human beings. This is what men should be like. You could be a leader and be chill. I'm so tired of your moist criticals and your fucking disgusting Asmongolds, and you're like, these guys suck shit. And only immature 16-year-old boys would ever watch this shit with any level of admiration. These guys are garbage. At least when people watch somebody like Joe Rogan, when he got popular, it was at least about challenging yourself a little bit, going, hey, I'm a dumb guy. This was the reason Joe Rogan got big. I'm just a dumb guy, a dumb comedian, but I want to have conversations about big topics too. I want to challenge myself. I want to learn about you know, cosmology and history and archaeology and politics and blah, blah, blah. He just got so rich, he got trapped into a bubble. Oh, yeah, we've seen this clip before, but it is a banger, so we'll play it again. See, I even liked it. Come on.
Here's the thing. I don't know what you kids are up to, but I do know one thing. Laws are threats made by the dominant socioeconomic ethnic group in a given nation. It's just a promise of violence that's enacted, and police are basically an occupying army. You know what I mean? You guys want to make some bacon? He pulls a mask over his face, pulls a lit Molotov cocktail out of his mailbag, and whew,
That was on fire the whole time?
all done,
You're
kiddo.
so brave!
He goes, boom, hits the lock, opens the jail cell. You see the fucking halflings with like black ski masks rappel in, just start opening fires, smashing.
Oh, yeah, my mom works here. A lot of these people are good people.
Let's make some fucking bacon!
Let's go!
Here's the thing. I don't
Liberals. The liberals in the thing trying to know but him. Ugh. Ugh. Stupid people speaking confidently about things they don't know about is relatable to stupid people who know nothing, and it reinforces their opinion that is born out of knowing nothing. Yes, that's exactly right. I think the situation with the, you know, Hassan, the dog collar shit, everybody loves dogs. And the other thing is 99% of people, or not 99, but 95% of people that have dogs have untrained dogs. Like, let's just be completely honest. So if you have a trained dog, does stuff as simple as goes to the crate on command, goes to a place where they're supposed to lay down instead of saying laying in the middle of the floor. What's the difference between a dog laying in the middle of the floor or the dog laying in the bed that's designed to protect their hips? Nothing, except laying on the bed they're supposed to lay on is good for you and it's good for their health. When you see a dog like Hassan's who's lays on the bed they're supposed to be on, then gets up to get a drink of water, gets up to, you know, go on a walk with other family members or hang out in other rooms. Dogs are loyal to one person. If you're not really the person who takes care of the dog doesn't fuck with you most of the time, but it does fuck with the person that does take care of them. You understand that, right? Like, there's a reason that Kaya sticks with him all day, is because he's the one who she loves and takes care of. It's just like, and here's a clip of Hassan, and Kaya's not in the bed. Random clip of Hassan. Kaya's not in her bed prison. As a former dog trainer, I can say that most people do not know how to train a dog, and there's so much misinformation out there about dog training that most people just eat it up and believe without consulting research. And that's the thing. Hassan not only is a much more attractive than them, much more intelligent than them, he's also just able to train his dog, and they've never had a trained dog or seen one.
No, it's 8,000 bitrate.
The clip does look bad if I'm being honest. Only if you're a fucking dummy. Only if you're a dummy. Like, legit. But the problem is most people are dummies. And this is why lying is OP. Because you guys continually reward liars. You continually reward liars. When you find out you've been lied to, you go, well, you try to make excuses about how you didn't get tricked. The number one, okay, one of the things that really was a level up for me was when I was in law school and I was doing securities arbitration, which is basically you sue stockbrokers who scam their clients. Okay, financial advisors who scam their clients. And so I learned a lot about scams. One of the things that we also learned about was the psychology of people who have been scammed. And this is where I was the most misanthropic in my entire life. I started to understand the perspective of the sociopath. I started to understand this perspective of the scammer. Because, and what do I mean by that? What I mean by that is, you could have a conversation with someone who has been stolen from, and you could prove dispassionately, with no interest in the outcome. You could do a forensic accounting that shows exactly what happened. You could have direct quotes and evidence from the person who stole from them. And that person will be mad at you. They will be mad at you. They will be mad at their family that tried to protect them from being scammed. In fact, it is common that when financial scammers are prosecuted, that some of their victims go to the trial to defend them. It's actually one of the more difficult elements of prosecuting financial fraudsters, because if people accept that they are defrauded, then they are destitute and their hope dies. So to avoid the psychological pain of accepting reality, they will go the opposite. That's why if you have somebody who is elderly and is starting to suffer from dementia or cognitive decline, I urge you to get a power of attorney and to monitor their financial transactions. If anything, they should not have access to their savings. They should not have easy access without your authorization to their savings. Now, they should have like a monthly stipend or whatever, and you should make sure that their healthcare system is all set up. But if somebody's starting to suffer from cognitive decline, the first thing you should do is ring fence their finances, because they're going to fall for a scam. So what do I mean by this? So with this long aside is to say simply, people lie about Hassan, you prove it's a lie, and they'll move the goalpost because, again, they don't want to look foolish. They got tricked, so they don't want to look foolish. So personally, what I do is whenever somebody brings me something that's obviously they got tricked, I pretend to not understand what they're saying. I pretend that they're coming to me to laugh at the scam. I pretend that they're coming to me like they already figured out it was a lie. But then I'll prove that it's a scam. I'll prove that it's a lie, but I'll be laughing along with them. This is my strategy. I pretend like this is maybe a little manipulative. I'm sorry, but it is the best strategy that I've worked in, which is instead of going like, you fell for this, I say, wow, a lot of people fall for this. You were really wise to bring me this and show how this was a scam. Really, wow, I'm really impressed. And I try not to be condescending about it, which I fail. But you get my point. The point is, okay, haha, you're a dummy. Haha, you fell for this. Oh, you're stupid. Say, wow, it's really impressive how you didn't fall for this when they're falling for it. But then you go through the motions of proving it, but they're on the team of people who see through it. Just assume they're on the... Now, if they're like intransigent, it doesn't work 100% of the time. Sometimes they're like, no, it's not a scam. You're an idiot. Blah, blah, blah. Well, then you're stuck. It's far easier to lie to someone and trick them than it is to convince someone. Yeah, exactly, Desert Madman. Than it is to like flip someone who has been tricked. This is why life sucks. Literally. This is literally why our society's fucked. Because people get tricked and then they refuse. They have a really hard time emotionally getting over it. My mom has dementia. She had 20K stolen by online scams, and a person who went to her bank pretended to be your boyfriend. She got really mad at me. Mike is exactly right. I had to fight to get POA and restraining orders against the predator in order to stop the financial abuse, but by then it was too late. She's in a nursing home now. Yeah, I'm sorry that happened to you. It happens all the time. It's one of my... Personally, I think there should be death penalty for some of these financial scammers, but that's my tanky take. Is he shocking that dog to keep it on screen? This dude's a psycho. I see the Nazi pedophiles have weighed in. And of course, it's very important to understand that if you're not defending Hassan right now, you're a fucking scumbag as well. She has no idea she's the most famous dog on the internet for the past 2 days because of a coordinated far-right pro-Israel slander campaign. Yeah, I know. Look how healthy she looks, man. If you're elderly and wondering why the timeline is flooded with posts about Hassan's dog, let me explain. There are people doing a massive far-right coordinated hit on him based on nothing, and then there are gullible and cynical idiots helping them. That's correct. It's because he shocked his dog. I swear that never happened. Wow. I mean, holy shit, dude. First time is tragedy, second is farce. And we are in the farce.
Go on Instagram Live and defend Elon Musk.
Okay. How does Instagram...
I have no idea.
A lot of people have been saying that Elon Musk is a singularly evil, wildly incompetent, befuddled Nepo...
No, Vanguard never apologized to me. No, they did not. Even though I asked them for it and I replied to them.
Baby silver spoon motherfucker.
So I would go ahead and say that they are misinformation scam artists at this point. Sorry, but...
Born under literally the wealth of apartheid, one of the most evil systems of oppression in the history of the planet. Some people are saying that we're living in a time where we are watching maybe the biggest example of why capitalism doesn't work and why these billionaires are...
They did apologize live on stream. Well, that seems like they're more focused on their stream than they are on righting the wrong because they insulted me. Why would they just apologize to me in a DM? Say sorry about that, Mike. We fell for it. But, you know, they're more focused on you guys not being mad at them than they are in actually undoing the harm they caused, which means they're grifting.
Actually, often the least deserving people you know. This is what people are saying. Sometimes when you say true stuff.
Wait a second.
Yeah, what's that?
Defend? Go on Instagram Live and defend.
Mr. President, thank you again. My name's Jonathan Cho. I am an investigative reporter for Frontlines Turning Point USA. I'm also a senior fellow at Discovery Institute in Seattle. And I cover far-left extremism as well as the homeless drug crisis in America. And I find it oftentimes those worlds intersect. And hot off the presses, what I wanted to bring to your attention today is a report from a Capital Research Center here in DC in conjunction with Discovery Institute. They just put out this study right now. And what it shows is that Antifa is heavily embedded in the homeless and housing nonprofit sector. In many cases, the homeless industrial complex is running cover for Antifa. Antifa is benefiting from American tax dollars, and they're essentially being used as the muscle. Let me give you an example. There's a group called Stop the Sweeps in many U.S. cities right now. They get in front of encampment sweeps. What they're doing quietly is they're bringing in Antifa militants to manufacture a crisis to make the police look bad. Another group right now that is behind Antifa and working with Antifa very closely, based on the research that we have right now that we're going to give to you and your team, are the Democratic Socialists of America, also known as DSA. Again, these far-left progressive groups tend to be aligning themselves with Antifa. So finally, in closing, what I wanted to thank you again, Mr. President, is that a few months ago, earlier this year, you put out an executive order on homelessness and the drug addiction crisis in America, and that's sent the entire homeless industrial complex on the run. You have absolutely moved the needle and changed the game. But what's also come out, again, is that there is a connection, a deeply embedded connection with the homeless housing nonprofit game in America, connected to Antifa and the far-left activists. And finally, I just wanted to say that all of our resources at Turning Point USA and Discovery Institute are at your disposal. And we will continue, again, to carry on the legacy of Charlie Kirk. He would have wanted us to pursue and chase the story.
Heavily, I mean, obviously, like, as I said before, you know, they're not stupid. The right wing, I mean, the thing about the right wing is this. The vast majority of right wingers are just ignorant assholes. But the people at the top are pure evil. They're not stupid. Now, a lot of these people are kind of stupid. But the powers that stand behind them are not. The Mercers are not stupid. The Kochs are not stupid. And even if they are, they hire intelligent sociopaths, which is unfortunate. U.S. anti-fascism expert blocked from flying to Spain at airport. Rutgers University professor who published his book on Antifa was informed that a boarding gate his trip was canceled. I think he should go to Canada. Cross the border to Canada. Get the fuck out of there, man. A Rutgers University professor who taught... Okay, what was that, today? Yeah. A Rutgers University professor who taught a course on anti-fascism was blocked from leaving the U.S. for Spain on Wednesday night, according to media reports, hours after Donald Trump hosted a White House roundtable highlighting the impact of Antifa or anti-fascist far-left activists. I think there's a non-zero chance he does. And I certainly think somebody like John Fetterman would support it. There's definitely a majority in the House and the Senate to ban Antifa right now, without a doubt. Mark Bray, a historian who published the 2017 book Antifa, the Anti-Fascist Handbook, has taught courses on anti-fascism at New Jersey University, was attempting to board a plane at Newark Airport bound for Europe when he was informed at the boarding gate that the reservations for him and his family had been canceled. The professor, nicknamed Dr. Antifa by a group of students, had said he was moving to Europe after receiving death threats. Turning Point USA activists have claimed he is a financier for the left-wing movement. Somebody canceled my family's flight out of the country at the last second. We got our boarding passes, we checked our bags, went through security, then at the gate, our reservation disappeared. One threat included a vow to kill him in front of his students, according to Washington Post. The threats led Bray's decision to relocate to Spain with his wife and 2 children and continue to teach his students remotely. Since my family and I do not feel safe in our home at the moment, we are moving for the year to Europe. Truly, I am so bummed about not being able to spend time with you all in the classroom. My role in this is as a professor. I've never been part of an Antifa group, and I'm not currently. But he added that there's an effort underway to paint me as someone who is doing the things that I've researched, but that could be further from the truth. Bray told the outlet that the family were rebooked for Thursday evening, but we're in the dark about why the earlier booking had been canceled. I may sound conspiratorial, but I don't think it's a coincidence, he said. We're at the hotel and just going to try again. I would, if I were him, I would rent a car, I would drive across the border to Canada, and I would fly out of Canada or out of an airport that he's not known to be at. Just a tip. After Kirk's assassination, the right-wing influencer Jack Posbiak called Bray a domestic terrorism professor on X. The Rutgers chapter of Turning Point USA that circulated a petition that accused the professor of being an outspoken, well-known Antifa member and called for his dismissal. The Rutgers chapter of Turning Point USA has said it does not support harassment or doxing, but Bray is on a list of academics the group identifies as advancing left-leaning classroom propaganda. Oh, they're making lists now. Do you want to become a socialist? If so, make sure to pay this professor a visit. All jokes aside, help us report this professor who has ties to Antifa, who is now designated domestic terrorism organization. The Rutgers chapter posted on Instagram several days ago. I think one of the things to understand about fascism is that it's not performed by necessarily uniformed members of the state. The reason why the Gestapo was able to act was because Germans largely supported them. And the idea that Germans did not largely support the Gestapo is propaganda the United States did so that we could have Nazis in West Germany as our allies against the Soviet bloc. The idea that the Germans were occupied by the Nazis is just propagandistic and false. Rutgers University is committed to providing a secure environment to learn, teach, work, and research where all members of our community can share their opinions without fear of intimidation or harassment, it added. Unsettling. It's actually crazy that God made my greatest enemy a Turkish man. My grandmother's Greek Cypriot brother literally dies at the hands of a Turkish sniper. 6 years later, I fight from Australia against Turkish commie diasporoid in America. You're a diasporoid. I've yet to encounter a normal person who hates Assad. I don't even watch his stream, but all of his many haters are freaks. That's why, though. That's why. Because we're not. Because we actually want to get a better world. And I think that one of the things that fascists understand, or at least they falsely believe, and I want to clear it up, is that they get to have fun, but if I and Hassan win, we're going to be compassionate or something, right? I want to clear that up. The outrage against Hassan Piker totally took Candace Owens' revelations off the public spotlight. All attention shifted from Israel assassinating a U.S. citizen on U.S. soil to Assad's dog. I'm sure that's just a coincidence, though. I don't think that is what happened, guys. I'm certainly not normal, but y'all should be extremely skeptical of people who use their sexuality to make what is basically centrist policies seem attractive, while also profiting off of astroturfing. 100% hit rate. 100% hit rate. As I said yesterday, the most annoying people are really not even the far right. They're just pathetic losers and enemies, and it's very easy. Ethan Klein, aka Pedo Troll, shared a story about how he sexually abused a family dog as a kid. What the Jesus?
At war against a terrorist organization, they should come to Congress, notify us, and seek our approval. Currently, the administration is waging a secret war against a secret list of unnamed groups that they will not tell us about. There's been 4 lethal strikes against boats in the Caribbean. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm a CIA officer. I'm a former Pentagon official. I did 3 tours in Iraq. Alongside the military, I participated in targeting of terrorist groups. And I actually have no real problem going against cartels, given what they have done in inserting drugs in our community, the death of so many Americans, that if the Trump...
Average Democrat. I hate watching H3 episode last week, and the crew has full mutiny energy. He killed Dan's mic, and this was an indirect of a fake paid live audience of 3 dudes hired to laugh at Ethan's every joke. I mean, they're down to what, like 19,000 viewers now? I think I saw.
We're not going to stop at just arresting the violent criminals we can see in the streets. Fighting crime is more than just getting the bad guy off the streets. It's breaking down the organization brick by brick. Just like we did with cartels, we're going to take the same approach, President Trump, with Antifa. Destroy the entire organization from top to bottom. We're going to take them apart. Thanks to your bold leadership and the designation of Antifa as a terrorist organization, which is exactly what they are, Americans will no longer tolerate their unhinged violence. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pam.
We're not going to stop at just arresting the violent criminals we can see in the streets. Fighting crime is more.
I mean, when you talk about Antifa, they're like, oh, it started in Weimar, Germany. They started in Weimar, Germany, yeah, as an anti-Nazi movement.
Mr. President, thank you again. My name is Jonathan Cho. I am an investigative reporter for Frontlines Turning Point USA. I'm also a senior fellow at Discovery Institute.
By the way, so we have the Turning Point USA people that are basically trying to ban political speech. You have to understand that people like Slotkin are in favor of this. Oh, yeah, I think we did watch this. Wait, this is the guy pretending? I call on Meat Canyon to make a clown out of these people. In all seriousness, how are we letting these drug-fueled demons? I mean, it is what it is. Did you already cover the part where Trump says we took away freedom of speech? No, I didn't.
On that boy, I seen the dog shit. Hassan, bro. Niggas on your nuts right now. Shit cooked.
This is why we can't have Janet Mills over Graham Plattner? Yes, I know. I know. But don't worry, the anarchists are here to defeat any effort we have of making sure we don't have CIA and AIPAC-aligned politicians in office. Because somebody once told them that the best way to do politics is to just say everything is the same because, you know, criticizing the Democrats and Republicans as being the parties of a uniparty. And then you have people that are like, I'm against this stuff. They're like, you kind of see the same. God, if I see another anarchist pit crew avatar, I may actually lose my mind.
We've made it 1 year penalty for inciting riots. We took the freedom of speech away because we
took the freedom of speech away. We took freedom of speech away. Can you imagine if Hassan said something like that? Christ. All right, let's take a look at the information about the ceasefire proposal in Gaza. Trump is trying to make it happen. I think he wants to get the Nobel Prize.
Have signed off on what he is calling Trump making the announcement media site, writing in part, quote, this means that all of the and agreed upon as the first steps toward a strong, durable. And now, if this holds in Gaza, and Kristen Holmes is out front live outside the White House Thursday morning. I want to start with you, Kristen. What are you?
Yeah, this is what the administration took office for the second of this peace deal. And right now we're looking at two of the key components, the ceasefire and withdrawal of, as well as that would be in for Palestine immediately. But we also know that things that were listed included things like Palestine is an absolute red line. But clearly of all of this, and that his was doing sort of a panel talking about Antifa and handed him and we need you to Truth Social or drafted President Trump was that both sides hear it from Israel, Hamas, from President Trump putting it out there. So what exactly this looks like? Well, there's still going to, we know there are roughly living hostages. We also know they're going to as well. We also know idea of is what does that look? Is that everybody? What kind of withdrawal? What is one of the things that 20 was that they said both sides had to. We still don't know what that actually. This right here is the deal saying talks are going.
All right, Kristen, thank you very much. And Jeremy, obviously significant. But
yeah, I just need to understand for the people of Gaza who have endured 2 years. This is that the first phase of forward and an initial withdrawal of Israel within the Gaza. Ultimately, have to and believe is that Hamas may have every single source that I've been speaking with over the course of the last that the only scenario in to release 48 hostages, without a total agreement on this 20-point plan would be if they received assurances from the United that these negotiations that will follow that they will act. And so we're already in Gaza has just put out of those hostages with bated breath and also a message with God's help we will bring them all home. Now there are how quickly will the release of these that the president released last week? It said 72. A process will also need the Israeli cabinet as well as the release of the Palestinian prisoners, Israeli prison exchange for them. But once again, and I can tell you that there is and celebration.
Trump wants to tidy up these offshore wars so he can bring it home here to the dissenters. I mean, it's just literally a way. It's counterproductive for anything he's trying to do internationally.
President Trump, you have the best crowd in the world. What do you guys have to say to President Trump?
Thank you. Thank you. You did it. You did it.
It's amazing. Mr. President, we believe in you. We know you've done so much for us over the past, since you became a president, and even before that. And we trust you fulfill the mission until every hostage, every 48 of the hostages are home. Thank you so much. Blessed be the peacemakers.
God bless you, Mr. President. God bless America.
All
We hit some new lows over the weekend.
Shut the fuck up. God, I hate that. Jimmy Kimmel is such a little bitch-made loser. Holy fuck. Everybody put their back into getting him back on the air, and he's going to be compliant now to Trump. He's scared. So he got the posture like he was standing up to Trump, and now he's going to be compliant with Trump. That's what liberals like to do. I watched the guy you mentioned yesterday live. You're right. The aversion to calling themselves socialist or even leftist just tell me it's an uncommittal ally and never trust them to have my back. You shouldn't. Oh, yeah. Of course. Of course. He's just a DGGer who grifted over to the Hassan orbit. I mean, it's not that complicated. If that's the type of politics you like, then, you know, you're probably not welcome here. But freedom for the hostages could also transfer Israeli attitudes toward the conflict. So basically, Trump announced a ceasefire deal to begin ending the war in Gaza. Basically, there is a deal to release all hostages and all Palestinian prisoners. Hamas agreed to release all the remaining hostages in exchange for Israel's release of Palestinian prisoners, fulfilling a major Israeli demand to end the captivity, which is something that Hamas has offered since like October 10th. Did the Vanguard rats apologize? No. The two sides appeared to have come to terms on Wednesday on just the initial phases of a deal, leaving long-term questions about Gaza's fate unresolved. Previous ceasefires have fallen apart during the bitter arc of the conflict that began 2 years ago this week. Both sides expressed hope they could continue efforts to stop the fighting for good as Trump pushes a broader 20-point plan that leaves the door cracked to Palestinian statehood. I'm very proud to announce that Israel and Hamas have both signed off on the first phase of our peace plan. This means that all of the hostages will be released very soon, and Israel will withdraw their troops to an agreed upon line as the first steps toward a strong, durable, and everlasting peace. Blessed are the peacemakers. Check the clip. Oh, I will check the clip. I just don't want to check it right now. A Hamas release of all hostages, which Trump said was likely to take place on Monday, will usher the conflict into a new phase. Hamas leaders have long believed that holding the captives was their main leverage against Israel. They feared that if they released all of them, they would expose themselves to a fresh Israeli campaign dedicated to their obliteration. Placing little trust in Israeli leadership, they sought U.S. assurances that Israel would simply resume the war once the hostages were released, which they will. Hamas says it's impossible to locate all the POW remains because they are under rubble. We should probably look at Al Jazeera's coverage of this, because this Western shit is just going to be all propaganda.
All right, let's just bring you some breaking news here that mediators say the Gaza ceasefire deal has been approved by both sides. This is a post that US President Donald Trump has just posted on his Truth social media platform, that a Gaza ceasefire deal has been agreed. So breaking news here on Al Jazeera that the deal has been agreed. Al Jazeera.
They didn't just, all right, Vanguard did not just hop on spreading the Hassan misinformation. They also insulted me and called me Hassan's dog for correcting that and standing. Now, somebody's jealous. Hassan only puts the collar on his dog. You could, of course, say it's Hassan's dog. He can do whatever he wants, but I think it's bullshit to shock an animal that trusts you like Kaya trusts him. Hassan could do better, and he should stop using a shock collar. And I said, you guys are fucking stupid. This is slander. She yelped because he twisted her ankle. He only looked after that. There is no shock collars. You are assholes for spreading this disinformation or whatever. And they said, somebody's jealous. Hassan only puts the collar on his dog. Average Vosh, former Vosh orbiter. So I correct the record. I say, no, that's not true. And they insulted me. Probably shouldn't reward those guys. And then they never apologized. They never said, I'm sorry, Mike, that was wrong. They just deleted the tweets quietly and then talked to their stream audience. Insulted with homophobia. Yeah, also implying I'm sexually attracted to Hassan, and that's my motivation for defending him.
As Alan Fisher joins us live now from Washington, D.C. Alan, so we're all waiting on...
If you open with fucking stupid assholes, don't expect apologies. They were obviously wrong. So wait a minute. They spread misinformation, joining in on a Nazi fucking hate mob to spread it to normies to attack the left. They get corrected. Now, yes, I did call them assholes for spreading it because they don't know the facts. And then they responded by insulting me. Then they delete all the tweets because they're getting so much backlash. I don't know. I think if you spread misinformation with a Nazi mob and someone calls you an asshole, that's the least you can expect to get. I don't know. Maybe I'm just socially unaware.
Tenterhooks for news of this, and news that Trump has now posted on his Truth social media saying we have a deal. What are you seeing and hearing there at the White House?
This has been building, particularly over the last couple of hours when Donald Trump and...
That's such a fun line of attack because, first of all, it's not the case, but they would slit throats to be at Hassan's sphere. Oh, yeah. Most of the time, people hate me because the reason why I'm in Hassan's sphere, one of the streams that he promotes, is because he likes my commentary, and that's it. The reason why I let Hassan, like, that's it. Like, they're not good enough. They don't know enough. That's it. So they're mad at me, and they try to make me into like somebody who's just a Hassan supporter as opposed to someone that Hassan agrees with intellectually. You see what I mean? Like that, like that's the thing that's funny.
Meeting at the White House said he just stepped away from a call with his team that were in Egypt in Sharm el-Sheikh, and he was encouraged by the progress that had been made and thought there would be an announcement soon. Talked about heading to the Middle East at the weekend. That may now be brought forward. It appears that the outline of a deal has been done. Donald Trump on his Truth social platform.
See that Normie Genius Charlie hopped on the bandwagon? Oh, did Charlie agree with what the rest of the internet says? That's the only reason he said anything about Benjamin Netanyahu. Because at this point, everyone's against it. So he's just agreeing with everybody else. That's what he always does. He just goes with what he perceives Reddit to be doing. That's his entire grift. He is a thumb in the air. Like, he's honestly worthless. Just go look at the front page of Reddit. You know what Charlie's going to say. You know, I mean, and he's not funny. He's not like comical. He just speaks in a monotone voice, matches whatever the popular sentiment seems to be on Reddit, and that's that. Like, what's the point of him even existing? It's hard to say.
Platform has just in the last couple of minutes said, I'm very proud to announce that Israel and Hamas have both signed off on the first phase of our peace plan. This means that all of the hostages will be released very soon, and Israel will withdraw their troops to an agreed-upon line as the first steps towards a strong...
How come my Facebook is full of Hassanabi articles? Because they can slander him to normies. That's it.
Durable and everlasting peace. All parties will be treated fairly. This is a great day for the Arab and Muslim world, Israel, all surrounding nations, and the United States of America. And we want to thank mediators from Qatar, Egypt, and Turkey who worked with us to make this historic and unprecedented event happen. Blessed are the peacemakers. President Donald J. Trump. So after hours of speculation that this was going to happen, that we were edging closer, that there was more optimism than there has been at any point in the last 2 years, it appears that Donald Trump and his 20-point plan and the pressure that he has exerted, not just on Hamas and on Israel, but on others in the region, appears to have delivered a peace deal which should mean an end to the war on Gaza.
Yeah, and Alan, obviously the executive word here, or phrase, being the first phase of the peace plan. Are any more details emerging about what parts of Trump's 20-point plan they have a deal on? Because it's unlikely, as you say, that everything's been agreed to.
Well, most of the details, of course, will still be in Sharm el-Sheikh. Donald Trump will have been given the details of what has actually happened. Nothing has been made public from Washington, D.C., but it's clear that there was a general agreement that the framework suggested by Donald Trump was something that they could work on. There were certainly concerns and technical issues about how far and how quickly would Israel pull out of Gaza, how quickly would there be an exchange of prisoners and captives, how quickly would the Palestinians get their people out, whose name would be on the list? Would there be senior figures that they'd been talking about for a number of years? What would the role of Hamas be? Would they be completely frozen out? Would any Middle Eastern country give them a guarantee of a seat at the table? All of this was going on in Sharm el-Sheikh, and clearly it is a complicated, difficult negotiation. But it appears that after 3 days of discussions, with a lot of big names appearing on Wednesday, a deal has now been signed, and we're waiting to see what that means for the people in Gaza. Because, of course, when Donald Trump announced his 20-point peace plan, he said he wanted to see an end to the bombing in Gaza. And nothing new happened in Gaza. The offensive continued, the bombings continued, and the deaths continued. Now there is an outline of a peace deal. The pressure will be on Israel to stop doing what they have been doing in Gaza for the last 2 years and stop the offensive, which has claimed more than 65,000 lives.
Yeah, Alan, and Trump says that he will head to the Middle East this weekend. How much pressure did that put on Hamas and Israel and indeed the negotiators to get this deal across the line?
Well, I don't think there was that much pressure from the president. I think that was always there. And certainly there was a consensus among the countries who were represented in the talks in Sharm el-Sheikh, excuse me, and the wider community, that a deal had to be done and agreed quite quickly. Donald Trump was talking about possibly flying out on Saturday night or Sunday. That then changed with a statement from the White House in the last couple of hours saying that he would have an annual medical on Friday, and sometime after that, very short order was the phrase that was used, he would head to the Middle East. So that suggested that it would be at some point on Friday. Now that a deal has been done, that everyone is in Egypt, there's every possibility that the president will head to the Middle East much sooner than Friday morning, because, of course, he's very keen to be seen to be the driving force behind this. And to a large degree, he has been. No one was talking about peace talks. The Israelis had killed negotiators from Hamas, both in Tehran and also attempted to do that in Doha. There was a concern that everything was kind of locked. Donald Trump then had a meeting with senior officials from Muslim nations and Middle East countries at the United Nations General Assembly. He said that would perhaps be his most important meeting. And from that came the outline of this 20-point plan, which he officially unveiled on September the 29th when Benjamin Netanyahu was back at the White House. So it appears that there has been enough negotiation for the US president to announce that phase one has been agreed. And of course, this is now all about sequencing. And we've seen that before in a number of peace processes around the world. My personal experience is in Northern Ireland that if you do this, then we do that. And when you do this, we'll follow with that. So that has all got to be agreed. So the
problem is that there's no guarantor. Like, Israel is not trustworthy. So if anything that leads with Hamas doing something, it's eventually going to be Israel breaks the deal after Hamas performs. And unless there's like Egyptian soldiers in Gaza or some sort of third-party military that has anti-air capability, like, I don't believe this is actually going to exist.
Phase seems to be in place. What happens next will maybe be subject to further negotiation, but it appears that Donald Trump has delivered what he said he would deliver very quickly after his election way back in January, and that is a ceasefire in the war on Gaza.
Alan, just a final thought to you before you go, and obviously we'll come back to you throughout the night. There is even talk, perhaps, of Trump visiting Gaza itself. It's not confirmed yet. This is just something that's being reported. If that did happen, though, Alan, it would be pretty much unprecedented, wouldn't it?
It certainly would. It would need a great deal of a huge security operation. I'm not entirely sure that the Secret Service, who protect Donald Trump, would be keen on that idea. He would go in with the Israeli Defense Forces, given that he said in his statement both sides will be treated equally and fairly. Excuse me. That might not be the optics, but then Donald Trump has never been too much concerned about optics that may be read a different way from everyone else. It would be a huge logistical and security operation, although it is possible. While foreign journalists have not been allowed in Gaza, the Israelis have made accommodation for those that they think will help put their side of the story, and allowed the journalists in under a huge security cordon. So it's possible that that could be expanded and delivered by Donald Trump. And there may be a welcome for Donald Trump from the Palestinian side, because after 2 years of constant war,
Holy shit, this no thumb guy makes me laugh my ass off, dude. This is the first time I've seen it because they've mostly gone away. They've mostly gone away, but the lecture fan Vosh video follower. This is a 35-year-old Destiny fan. Holy shit, that's crazy, dude. That's crazy. I'm really important. Vosh video lecture fan. I haven't seen one of these haters in a long time. It's pretty rare. Infrared show. God, this guy, man, you are a precious little incel, aren't you? Not following me till just now? You've been following I'm Really Important for 4 years and you just got around to following me? Wow. Fuck, this guy's awesome. I love this guy. Hold on. Holy fuck, it's so funny. Fuck, it's so funny. Holy shit, that's good. I would look at your chat on like something like I'm Really Important, but I don't think he's important enough for anybody to ever care about his chat. Okay, the last time he chatted in Hassan stream was 2022. Damn, that's crazy, man. But he has opinions on what Hassan thinks about me. He hasn't chatted there since 2022. What happened? What happened? Why aren't you chatting in Hassan's chat anymore? Okay, hold on. Let's see his oldest chats. He wanted to know what Hassan made. Who is Jordan? Probably Jordan Uhl. Look at Nick Fuentes tweets. And then horrors in this house. Show tits. My cock is throbbing. Okay. Interesting. God, this is so awesome. Hold on. Okay, Bernie. So, wow. Oh wait, Hassan is getting cooked. There he is in the Zakrar. In the Zakrar. Okay, so after years and years and years of being in the Destiny political debate orbit, you ended up as a fascist. Oof. Oof. That pretty much goes to show you exactly how effective my enemies are at political conversions. Vosh video. A liberal IRI guy becomes Nazi. What a surprise. The Destiny to fascist pipeline. Oof.
A US president seems to have finally delivered, because we've had many false dawns over the last 2 years, and it appears that there is going to be a new one.
It looks like Israel is still attacking, according to a post from 5 hours ago. After the ceasefire agreement in Gaza was announced by mediators, dozens of forcibly expelled Palestinians tried to return to their areas at Gaza City at the northern Gaza Strip. Israeli occupation forces bombed them. So to me, I guess the ceasefire isn't happening until when? Monday? Nobody wants to speak with a debate panel. By the way, what do you don't even believe anything. You don't believe anything. I don't debate people who don't believe in anything. You're regarded. You're regarded. Oh, you're regarded. You're 35 at least. You're 35 at least. You know what I didn't see in any of your chats? You going, my wife says, my girlfriend says, at my job, my partner. The Knesset is voting at noon today, and then it will move forward according to Democracy's Now reporting. Yeah, let's look at that. That's a even better place to get reporting for breaking news. We should watch the Hassan video on the him being lied to.
Celebrations broke out in Gaza and Israel after President Trump announced Israel and Hamas have agreed on the first phase of a hostage ceasefire deal.
I got married a week ago. Can I get a W in the chat for the wife, guys? Go take care of her right now. Go bring her breakfast. Can we talk about that for a second? I think the reason why men are kind of going insane, and yes, it's men. Men are actually going insane harder than women are. Women are just emotionally aware enough, and they're able to handle. Baja Blast, thank you for the 15 gifty. You're the best. They're emotionally aware enough to like go to a therapist and like say, I feel like I have borderline personality. I feel like I have this. Like I, as a dude, don't have that level of emotional maturity. And like, I know I'm a self-aware person. I'm sure I've got many personality disorders. I just caught myself splitting last night, or at least Vio said that I was doing it, which is kind of true. When people really disappoint me, I look back on them with a very critical and cold eye. It is true. So I have to like stop myself from doing that. Like, you know, like this is, I don't know, you know, I don't think I have BPD, but when I really, really, really am disappointed in somebody, all the things that I overlooked or downrated in importance, I kind of reevaluate and I go, you know, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Maybe this is actually was a sign of them being the wrong, like, you know, I overlooked this because I wanted to just go along to get along. Splitting is when you do a 180 and go from loving to hating someone quickly. Exactly. How did I get gifted a sub? I've never watched this channel. Usually that kind of thing happens in channels that are incredibly successful when Twitch thinks that you might like the channel for some variety of reasons. I could tell you, I could look into you and find out. I mean, you did ask, so you want my attention. So you're getting it, which is you really don't want that. You really don't want my attention, because usually when someone gifts you a sub, you just say thank you and you move on with your day. That's usually what you do. I honestly, looking at you as a person, I'm not sure, like, at all. It just sounds random. Looks like you got randomly selected.
Trump said the remaining Israeli hostages held in Gaza would likely be released on Monday. Israel has also agreed to release Palestinians held captive in Israeli prisons, but a final list of prisoners has not been released. During the first phase of the deal, Israel will withdraw forces from parts of Gaza and allow more humanitarian aid into the besieged strip. A ceasefire is expected to begin after Israel formally approves the deal later today, but Israel is still carrying out attacks in Gaza, killing at least 10 Palestinians over the last day. The Palestinian journalist Motassem Dalloul just revealed Israeli forces have killed his third son. 2 other sons were killed last year.
There are many questions over what will happen after Hamas releases the remaining hostages. Amnesty International said the ceasefire deal must be a pathway to what it called Israel's unlawful occupation, apartheid, and genocide. In the city of Khan Yunis, residents responded to the ceasefire deal.
I don't have a spoon nor a fork in my house. It is just some stones. Others lost their families. Some lost everything they own. And some had their families wiped out from the civil registry, and they stayed alone. Others lost their legs and limbs. Some lost everything, and some went missing as well. We ask God for safety, and may safety, security, goodness, and peace prevail.
In Israel, hostage families welcome the news of a deal. This is Gil Dickman. His cousin Carmel Gat was taken hostage on October 7th and killed in captivity.
Couldn't be happier. The fact that finally hostages are coming back, that the deal was signed, that the war is over. It's a happy day. It's a holiday here. That's what we wanted for such a long time. Carmel, my cousin, was murdered in captivity. She's not gonna come back. It's too late for her, but it's not too late for 48 hostages who are going to come back. 20 of them are going to come back alive. This is such a happy moment for us, the families of the hostages. Such a happy moment for all Israelis and for all the Middle East.
Meanwhile, British Prime Minister Keir Starmer praised the deal while on a trip to India.
I'm grateful for the tireless diplomatic efforts of Egypt, Qatar, Turkey, the United States and many others in securing this crucial first step. This agreement must now be implemented in full, without delay, and be accompanied by the immediate lifting of all restrictions on life-saving humanitarian aid to Gaza. The UK will support these crucial immediate steps and the next stages of the talks to ensure the full implementation of the peace plan.
We go now to Deir al-Balah in central Gaza, where we're joined by Eyad Amawi, a representative of the Gaza Relief Committee. Eyad, welcome back to Democracy Now! Can you describe to us the reaction on the ground to this ceasefire deal?
Thank you, Amy, and thank you for Democracy Now! For your interesting. Yes, now it's mixed feelings, happiness, worries, and hopes. And
I think a lot of people are whenever peace seems like it might break out, no matter how many times a country has broken those treaties, regular people want to believe that this time will be different. But Israel is a fascist government, and America has a fascist president. So deals are only useful insofar as they make you physically stronger to resist in the future. Anything that can be wiped away by unilateral action from Israel will be wiped away.
Really, a lot of celebration here and also a lot of sadness. It's a mix because the previous time we suffered from genocide, from uprooting us, trying to expulsion us from our homes, from our land, from our city, Gaza. Up to this moment, we're still waiting the exact appointment for complete implementations. So we're still waiting until this moment. The people hearing some tank shelters and guns in the coastal area road, and they prevent the people from returning to the Gaza city. We have some casualties now at this time. So we hope the ceasefire implementation will come speedily without any delay.
So, Iyad, you've laid out a number of steps that you think should be the priority in terms of aid getting into Gaza and the assistance that's needed in Gaza most urgently. Could you just lay out those things?
Firstly, entering the numbers of trucks that determined before, maybe 400, up to 600, without restrictions, especially for the nutritious food. And the second, the huge machinery and cairns and bulldozers that can leveling the lands and removing the rebels to set up new camps to meet our needs and our displacement people. They haven't shelters, haven't tents. So this is the two main issues that we need urgently in Gaza Strip. And repairing water desalination and repairing sewage networks urgently to prevent pollutions and bad environment here that cause diseases and spread of infectious disease also in Gaza.
You've also called for population distribution. If you could explain why.
We now live 1.5 million in the shrinked area, especially in the western part, in the south part of Deir al-Balah, and in Al-Mawati region. It's just 17 square kilometers. You can imagine when we live in this circumstances, we will not have a normal life, and it's very bad conditions here. So when we talk about redistribution peoples in all of the Gaza Strip, it will be better, and we can provide people with their needs, with their aids, and with their shelters. Everything will be okay.
Oh, by the way, chat, I posted this. I mean, let's finish this Gaza thing for sure. Let me finish this.
Can you explain, although we reported that a ceasefire deal has been reached, or President Trump did?
These people don't care about this issue. They just want Hassan banned. No, it's not about Hassan being banned. It's about smearing Hassan and putting as much scandal on him as possible because he's the most popular left-wing creator. Do you know how hard it is to get a platform? This is what you dumb people don't understand. People who think criticizing Hassan and jumping in and helping these smear campaigns is, well, we're doing good criticism. Those criticisms may be false, but now is our time to do our good criticism. You see, it's hard to build a platform. Just ask IRI. Just ask Dylan Burns. Just ask Lonerbox. Just ask all the Destiny Orbiter who have their 100 viewer streams. It's very hard to build a platform. So when somebody has a big platform, like myself, I actually have a big platform, which is crazy, but I do. Hassan has one of the largest platforms on the internet, period. Okay? When you join in with the right-wing dog piles, but you think, oh, I'm doing it wokely, you are actually destroying one of the few platforms that will take you seriously. You are actually silencing left-wing conversation. Do you know how I know? Because none of you people were around in 2014 and 2013. You didn't fucking exist. You started to exist on the internet because other platforms grew, certain viewpoints were acceptable to have, and then more viewpoints started to develop and were revived from the fucking trash heap. This is the reality. It's why DSA had like 4,000 members in 2013 and now has 100,000. It's why Bernie Sanders had, or Zoran had a 1% approval rating. Now he's the front runner to win. It's because when movements and platforms build and happen, it creates more space for people to agree. So when you join in on the smear campaign, when you join in on throwing shit on Hassan, you are destroying all future effort. You are damaging all future effort, because every time Hassan tries to do something, people are gonna be like, oh, doesn't he abuse his dog? Doesn't he visit a brothel? Doesn't he this? Doesn't he that? You are creating a smear campaign. And so every single time somebody's like, well, what, say, look at what happened with Zoran. Oh, you collaborated with him. That was an attack that was used against him. Now, obviously he didn't give a shit, and Hassan's support is why he won. But this is what their project is. They understand that if Asmongold goes away, if Destiny goes away, if all these right-wing ghouls, if Charlie Voice Critical goes away, if Ethan Klein goes away, there are billionaires to come in and buy another. Like Charlie Kirk, he got assassinated. That's horrible. But guess what? There's going to be another right-wing grifter that pops right in. Why? Because Charlie Kirk was not somebody who built his platform organically. He is a receptacle of right-wing money. Whereas on the left, we have to build our shit organically. We have to build our shit on our own. Nobody's beating down my door to give me $1 million for a studio, let alone $100 million a year. Leftists talk about solidarity and comradeship. And unfortunately, right now in the politics we have, the right wing is doing it. Now they do it because they get paid for it. And neoliberal platforms reward you for being a wrecker and a splitter. They reward you for being contentious and disagreeable and accusatory. That gets attention. That gives emotion. It takes a lot longer to build up something substantive, built on something real. And so, yeah, I always stand up against these campaigns. I always stand in them. That's why I'm the anti-Charlie. Charlie joins into whatever the hate campaign is or whatever the popular sentiment is on Reddit or pushed by these right-wingers. I stand up for what's right every single time. Sometimes that's popular. Oftentimes it's not.
There have been heavy airstrikes and artillery shelling in Gaza City and Khan Yunis. Israeli quadcopters also reported to have dropped bombs on civilians in Gaza City. About 9 people or 10 were killed in attacks in the last hours. Meanwhile, Israeli tanks blocking al-Rashid road to prevent displaced Palestinians from returning to their homes in northern Gaza. When do you see these attacks stopping? Also, people killed again trying to get food.
Okay, that's great. You can distinguish between two things here in our local peoples. The annunciation without determining exact hour. It's also the Israeli habits in all of the ceasefire agreements. So they grant themselves more time to punish our people, to increase the suffering. So when we talk about the agreement as official agreement, we need to determine the exact hour to prevent the continuity of this suffering immediately.
Adamawi, I want to thank you for being with us. I want to ask, were you in the streets celebrating as you heard this news?
We hope that, and we will celebrate even though what's still happening here and what we faced before. But it's our life. We resume it, inshallah.
Adamawi is a representative of the Gaza Relief Committee, coordinator for local NGOs, speaking to us to Deir al-Balah in central Gaza. Thanks for watching Democracy Now! On YouTube. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to make sure you never miss a video. And for more of our...
Now, I said this, and I said it before, that this ceasefire, I hope it holds. I hope there's some sort of international peacekeeping force that could be used. That there used to be one in Lebanon, and it was bombed by Israel during this genocide. That's what I worry about. I don't feel like there's any assurances that the Israelis can be trusted. And just to talk about this for a second, let's go back. I feel like a lot of us want to talk about the Hassan shit, so let's just do it. I posted this yesterday, chat. Whenever these slander operations run, it's useful to see who your enemies are. It's that simple. When I got slandered and defamed, I was able to find out who my enemies were. All the people who joined in. Every single one of them. They are now on my enemies list. It is what it is. It is what it is, because you know this is not true. But you use this as an opportunity to try to destroy me, to try to deplatform me, to try to silence me, to try to make people think, to flatten years of my work down into a clip that was out of context. That's not what I believe. And you know it's not. But you used it for personal animosity. Maybe it's jealousy. Maybe it's envy. Maybe you're mad. You feel entitled. And I didn't give you what you wanted. But I posted this yesterday. Whenever slander operations run, it's useful to see who your enemies are. It's that simple. And today, oh shit, we have a treasure train. A treasure train? A treasure train. Crazy day on Twitch. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. So let's watch the Voice Critical section on Hassan.
This is the one I asked.
Obviously, I'm a little greasy. No, I haven't showered yet. So what? Who cares? Have you showered yet? If you did and didn't use Cheeky soap, then it doesn't count. Cheeky's the best soap in the universe when it comes to internet creator drama. I haven't been keeping up like I used to, but...
I don't keep up with it, but here's an opportunity to smash Hassan, so I think I'm going to do that.
Occasionally, I do still dip my toes in sporadically to see what's going on. And yesterday during stream, chat was telling me about two really big things that were happening. The first being a live-streamed birth on Twitch. The second...
Can I say something about the Fandy birth thing? I have really mixed feelings about this. I have a lot of thoughts. On this. And they're complicated. And I think that I don't want to condemn her in any way. It gives me melancholy thoughts, you know? It just makes me kind of bummed, but I also think there's some good things that can come out of it. Where it's like, demystifying birth is kind of interesting. You know, there's also a discussion about like, what is consent? What is the logic of these platforms? You know, also like Twitch is growing as a platform in age. Like people that have been streaming for a decade are now entering different stages of their life. You know, they're leaving young adulthood, moving into middle age, becoming parents. I don't know. There's a lot going on. I don't think you could just say it's weird and bad. It's not that simple. I have a lot of complicated thoughts on this. And I do know it's incredibly brave to do it. Like, I will give Fandy credit. I don't know how I feel about it, but it's fucking like, it's incredibly brave to do it. And I really respect that. I actually do respect that. Now, I worry about, you know, there's a child welfare element that's like, what if something went wrong? Childbirth is very dangerous. It's just, I just have a lot of complicated thoughts. I really need to like, think through them. I don't have an easy knee-jerk reaction. So just talking about that real quick, and we can move on.
Hassan apparently using a shock collar on his dog.
Apparently using a shock collar. Apparently. Now, Charlie has Hassan's phone number. Charlie can message Hassan and be like, hey man, is it a shock collar? That's called basic journalism. Basic journalism. And let me thank everybody who's been subscribing. Sorry about that, chat. Ham and Fist, thank you for the 20 bob. Christy Bacon Fox, Airbnb Bortion, Chirpum, Yap FM, Zerk, Link K86, thank you for the 10. Can we get some bended knees for these big sub gifters? Crispy Bacon Fox, Pterosaurus Rex, Tally Hugh, thank you for the 10. Jaeger Larson, thank you for the 10. Red Edge Planet, thank you for the 5. J Gray BKK, thank you for the 10. And Baja Blast by Brains Out, thank you for the 15. Women are entitled to make their own choices about their birthing experience. Having birthed one child and had a C-section with the other, the lack of education is insane. Yeah, that's kind of why I kind of think it's cool. I actually don't, let me rephrase this. I actually don't have any problem with Fandy at all. I think what she did was, I think I'm settling on my opinion now that I think about it. I think what she did was incredibly brave. I think there's a lot of mystification about childbirth, and I think it's cool to like demystify that. It's a natural part of the human experience. I don't know why we're so weird about it in the Western world. The only concerns I have about it are more the safety of Fandy and the child, and kind of like oversharing of the way the internet is. It's not really what she did that bothers me. It's more I worry about the incentives of Twitch, like trying to coerce women into doing stuff like this. And just the way the internet is. I don't really have a problem with what she did. It's only weird in the US where there's no maternity leave. So true. It's because we sexualize everything and shame women for everything. So true. I honestly agree with that completely. I think a lot of it is misogyny. I'm not a fan of home birth. My son was born with his umbilical cord wrapped around his neck. If he was born at home, he might have died. I feel like home births are something that, listen, if it were my child, I would want to have the safest possible birth. I just think this is another step in the commodification of our lives and our bodies. Like, why stream it? Got no problem with women choosing to give birth whichever which way because it's their body, but the streaming and money aspect is what's weird. Yeah, but that's imposed upon us by capitalism. You know what I mean? Like, sharing it is not the problem. You're talking about the profiteers that exist so that we can share. You know what I mean? Like, if Fandy, like, let's assume that we lived in pure communism and we had a utility called Twitch where anybody could stream a show to other people, and they decided to document this, the birth of their child. You know what I mean? Would you have a problem with it then? So that's kind of my take on it. All right. Let's get going to the most critical anti-Hassan propaganda.
Don't like that. Anyway, though, let's move on to the next subject. This is the one that is by far the biggest from yesterday, and probably one of just the biggest topics in general, which is Hassan and his dog.
But it is emblematic of all of America.
Also, one of the things I want to say before we go into this, I think one of the biggest pieces of propaganda is the idea that Hassan is like mean to Kaya. He orders her around. He has like too high a standards for her, you know, that kind of shit, which is completely bullshit. Which is, if you've ever had a dog, sometimes you'd be like, oh my God, you're so spoiled. And you say it with a straight face. You say it like a straight man doing a comedy routine, right? And people take the straight man comedy routine and then they pretend it's actually, no, you're being abusive. You know, being deadpan, being like, oh, my fucking dog is so lazy and spoiled. They're like a princess. That's not a serious insult of the dog. It's a joke. Fucking joke.
It's much more consequential violence, okay? It's the same reason as to why America...
I said the other day, like I used to call my dog the ugly idiot. He was the smartest dog I ever had. And he was incredibly cute. Okay? Here's a picture. I used to call him the ugly idiot. That was a term of endearment. He doesn't know what ugly idiot is. He doesn't speak English. So if I said it in a kindly voice, oh, this is my ugly idiot. He doesn't know. He just hears the kindly voice and he's like, oh, I'm going to get pets. That's not I didn't emotionally abuse my dog. Okay?
Kaya, please just fucking go. Just stop. Jesus Christ. What are you doing? You're being such a baby. It's just...
And Kaya has... One of the things I really like about Kaya is she has kind of one of those, it's like Labrador face. You know, Labrador face is like slightly like depressed, like if they close their mouth and they have their eyebrows and it's kind of depressed. That's funny. That's cute. That's my little baby. Little droopy, resting sad face. It's cute. You want to squish it. People are like, oh my God, look how sad the dog looks. Like Hassan derangement syndrome is one of the most uncomfortable things. And I actually think it's more real than like Trump derangement or any other derangement. It's like Hassan is incredibly nice. It's crazy.
Guys, what are you doing? You're being such a baby. It's just you're making her stressed. She just literally is so incredibly spoiled from my mom.
Now, for the life of me, like I cannot understand what he's even upset about in the first place that he starts.
This is why it's propaganda. Okay, first of all, I would just say that the internet's weird. The internet's weird. I'm not saying this to be like toxic masculinity or anything like that, but the internet's weird. If I had a friend and they saw that and then they went around and they started like shit talking me by other friends based on that clip, just in like real life world, the next time I saw them, there would be a big confrontation, like just based on that bitch move that he's a fucking bitch, right? He's a fucking bitch. He's a bitch. He's a fucking weird bitch. So right off the bat, not a friend. The second thing is pick up the phone and ask him, be like, hey man, why, you know, I saw the clip and people were wondering, why did you seem to get annoyed by Kaya leaving her bed? You have a conversation. If it's your friend, and there's a big scandal accusing him of abusing his dog, you pick up the phone before you make a video to 1.5 million people. That's why I said that's what these things are useful for. Whenever these slander operations run, it's useful to see who your enemies are. It's that simple. Like clockwork.
Scolding the dog for, she moved like an inch, like slightly off of that. It's like in a video game, like in Metal Gear Solid, when someone gets like a fucking question mark over their head, they're like zipping to you immediately. Like she doesn't do anything really other than move slightly. And he is noticeably upset. He is upset about that specifically. Even before this incident.
Complete bullshit. Total lie. Total lie. Huge reach. Completely lie. No, he's not upset. He didn't yell at her. She got up from her bed. And we don't know the context. We don't know if there is somebody in the house. We don't know the context. Tell your dog to go back to place is not a fucking abusive thing to do with your dog. It's completely normal. You're fucking weird. Charlie, you're fucking weird, man. You're a weird guy. For spreading this narrative. You're a fucking weirdo, man.
Earlier in the stream, he had already gotten annoyed at her for moving around prior to this.
The absolute worst country on the planet, straight up, bar none, a capitalist shithole. Kaya, now is not the opportunity for you to down. The absolute.
I don't know what else. I guess this Tampa Bay redneck has never seen a well-trained dog in his life. I think this Tampa Bay redneck has never seen a fucking well-trained dog in his life. This is normal discipline for your dog when they are supposed to be in their crate. Now, Kaya is so well-trained, she could just lay on a bed. Oftentimes when you're working, like saying working from home, you will have your dog not crated, but placed in a location where they're not wandering around, especially if they're a breed that chews. Instead of them like sleeping on the couch or sleeping in the middle of the floor and hurting their hips, you have them sleep on their bed. Him just telling her, hey, you need to be at your place. That's nothing. What are you doing? What are you talking about? They're not a human being. Don't call him a redneck. Yeah, you're right. Rednecks are cool. You're right. He is a suburban F-150 guy. You know what I mean? The guy who has an F-150 with like the super short bed and the only cargo that's ever been in there is some groceries. Oh, can I just say one other thing about Charlie? When I went to his compound, this motherfucker didn't even know how to have a cooler. He had like, I don't know, 35, 40, maybe even more people over to his compound, and he couldn't even like get drinks cold correctly. But he did have giant penises everywhere.
Absolute worst fucking place on the planet. Just a horrific.
So I think it's pretty clear that the dog moving off of that spot is what's making Hassan annoyed at her. Now, I saw he mentioned place training. Place is an actual dog training thing. And the whole idea behind it is designating a spot in a comfortable location for your pet. For a lot of people, I know it's like their office if they work from home. And Hassan was talking about how that area is her place. For dog training, place is supposed to be like their happy spot where they are super safe and they feel super secure. And the way training goes with this, at least from everything I know of...
This is the plague that we have. Is I know that I'm a streamer. And so you look at me and you're like, Mike, how are you any different than Charlie? Well, the difference between me and Charlie is I do not act like an expert on things that I am not an expert in, or I don't have extreme education or personal experience in. There's a reason why I talk about politics every day. There's a reason why I talk about things like planes, okay? Because these are things that I've done, things that I know. I'm not talking about shit that's not real. It's like, this guy's just making shit up. He's regurgitating Reddit comments. It's like, these are the flights that I've done. You see these? These are examples of times I piloted a fucking plane for hours at a time by myself. So I know how to fly a plane. So I can talk about air traffic control. I can talk about flying. I can talk about jets. I'm a third generation pilot. Okay. So when I talk about aircraft shit, I know what I'm fucking talking about. And when I don't know, I know exactly who to ask. Okay? I know exactly how to look it up. So when I talk about it, I'm not just bullshitting you. When I talk about politics, I was a candidate. I have run campaigns that have won offices for people. I've raised millions of dollars. I have run and designed and executed polling operations. So I know how to interpret data. I know how to look at, I know the certainty levels. When I talk about law, and policies, I worked at the Committee of Urban Affairs. When I talk about law, I graduated law school. So when I talk to you about shit, I actually know what I'm fucking talking about. I don't just make it up by pulling it out of my fucking ass. And the worst part about streaming is I'm instantly on the same level as all these guys that are just making shit up and talking because they have an audience, and having an audience is what tells you if somebody is worth listening to or not. And the streaming space is absolutely choked with illiterate, uneducated, ignorant, self-assured, arrogant jackasses who don't know shit. And it's fucking disgusting. I mean, Jesus Christ. Asmongold is talking about public policy and how he wants to take the right to vote away from 85% of people. He doesn't wash his ass. He sits in filth. He sits in his parents' attic. He's a multimillionaire surrounded by filth and rot and pests, and he's telling me about public policy? He's never read a book, not a single book. Destiny had not read a single book until he claimed to have read a book last year, his first one. I'm sorry, this is a problem.
Dog training. Now keep in mind, when we first got Tetra, we did do dog training because my grandmother used to live with my parents, and Tetra gets very excited to see people. It's the cutest thing in the world, but she loves to jump on people. And my grandma, living at my parents, when we'd go to visit, or if they came to visit, if Tetra would jump on her, it could cause injury. So we did do dog training in order to learn how to, like, help with that. We didn't do any, like, fear training or anything like that with shock collars or whatever, but place was something that we did learn about.
How many hours a day do dogs sleep? On average, dogs sleep 12 to 14 hours a day. So when he streams for 8 hours, the dog spends much of it sleeping. And large dog breeds sleep more. Like, this is just fucking weird shit, man. You're being a weird.
When it comes to place, you do not want to, like, make it something stressful for the animal, at least in our teachings. It's supposed to be a...
Can I just say how pathetically lazy Charlie is? Like, if you are going to do a whole soliloquy on dog training about whether or not Hassan is going to do, and you're getting literally tens of thousands of dollars per video. Can you maybe call up a dog trainer and say, hey, would you mind coming on my stream and talking about this? And I'll give you a free advertisement for your dog training website or academy. But I'd really appreciate if you would come on and explain, you know, if this is abusive behavior, if there's anything problematic here, and what your opinion is on the issue. But this fucking slop tuber sack of shit, lazy garbage, I mean, Reddit shelved motherfucker, just wants to go on there and repeat whatever slanderous bullshit. And he knows Hassan. He can also pick up the phone and say, hey, Hassan, I saw the clip. Would you explain it? But he's just using this as an opportunity to slander the man.
Comforting spot for them, not like a stressful thing where they just go there and fucking, like, you know, blue screen in the brain and just sit there idly comatose. And if they don't, they get punished. So he's calling this her place. But when she's...
That's not what happened. She leaves all the time, liar. That's why you should talk to him and maybe not go off of clips sent by literal fascists and Zionists, you dumb rat fuck.
Moving from the place, he's scolding her. That's not what we were taught you're supposed to do when it comes to place training. That kind of defeats the purpose of it. I don't know why he would be getting so upset at that. Like, angry.
He's not upset. You're a liar. He's not upset. I'm more upset at how stupid you are. How could this mediocrity get so... I mean, Jesus Christ.
At the dog for moving from place. That really does kind of defeat the whole purpose of it. And then, in that clip, it seems like he reaches for something. Like, he looks off screen and he extends his arm to something.
He was upset his internet went out right before the clip and it crashed his stream. Peter responds to Hassan Piker dog abuse controversy. Piker has denied the claim, explaining that Kaya in fact wears a training collar that vibrates with an air tag attached, and that she accidentally clipped herself while rising from her bed when the incident occurred, when produced a yelp that provoked particular concern. However, critics have remained skeptical, zooming in on the footage of what they consider a telltale green blinking light. PETA says Hassan is denied using a shock collar, and we hope that's true because shock collars are dangerous and downright cruel. They put dogs at risk of burn wounds, chronic anxiety, and displaced aggression. Positive reinforcement is far more effective training method. It doesn't betray our animal companions' trust in us. Even PETA won't say he did it. You're just making shit up. You're just making it up.
And then shortly thereafter, the dog yelps in pain, and Hassan turns around, calls her a baby, and then tries to reassure the chat that she is spoiled, and then goes on to say that she's spoiled because his mother lets her, you know, have free roam around the house. Now...
Okay, wow, this is just literally made up. He's making up. Hassan never said that. You could just play the clip. You don't need to narrate your version of the clip. Just play the clip. You're storytelling bullshit. You're playing telephone with the clip you have. As I said before, whenever these slanderous operations run, it's useful to see who your enemies are. Okay, well, I won't reply that, chat. Charlie is a Neanderthal man. I don't think he is capable of forming his own opinions. Not gonna lie, I'm disappointed. You just don't know him that well. With all due respect, Mike, I don't think Assad is telling the truth. I'm just making up a clip. Please, like, look at Look at these people, chat. People don't like random acts of violence against, oh, Sam Hyde, Bronze Age pervert, Nazis. Wow, I can't believe so many people are so interested in this. There you go. I think one of the best things you could do as a leftist is when you see someone's a Sam Hyde follower, you don't go, let me sit here and try to persuade this guy. I'm going to persuade him with facts and logic. You go, oh, that's an enemy of mine. These are literal supporters of pedophile abusers. Sam Hyde abused a 16-year-old girl that he like raped on stream. Like, not the raping part, but the abusing part.
Twitch.
Oh, sorry, I got the wrong video.
And the community are claiming that he didn't use a shock collar or anything, didn't like zap her, you know, fucking Palpatine lightning blast her or anything like that. She got her dew claw stuck on that spot. And that's what made her yelp in pain.
By the way, we don't even know why she yelped. We can't, like, I think she like twisted her ankle or caught a dew claw, but I don't know for sure because I wasn't there and I'm not Kaya. You're just making stuff up. You're just making things up completely. Do you not understand how you're just making shit up off of a dog making a noise? What is wrong with you? Like, are you okay, boys? Are you okay? The dog is not injured. The dog made a vocalization. What? Are you okay?
Or breakdown if you're not familiar with
didn't see
how
shit.
those creatures...
You don't know what you saw. You don't know any, like literally, you don't know what you're talking about. All we know is it's not a shock collar. That we've had dozens and dozens of people go to that house and not one of them have been like, oh, he's shocking Kaya and I disagree with it, including Maya. There's no injury to the dog. They're just making it up. Charlie's making it up. And if the community is saying shit, and you should, as a creator, go, hey, you don't know what you're talking about. And here's my solemn promise. If Charlie ever has a scandal, I'm going to boost it as hard as I can. I'm sorry, but that's what you have to do for these guys to get it. Is that if you're going to go out there and just lie on people, if you're just going to lie on people like a crazed lunatic and make shit up and not call the guy and just be like, hey, do you have a shock collar? Can you explain to my audience? Because a lot of them are concerned. What happened? Can I see the shock collar? Like, if you really want to make a video about this, that's the right way to do it. It's called journalism. You could talk to an expert in dog training and say, did what he do, is this abusive behavior toward a dog? Is this a misusing of the place command? You show charitability, you try to get an expert on dog training, and then you actually talk to the person you're accusing of doing a thing. If you don't feel like, if you don't feel like you have to do that, then you're a piece of shit.
In that clip, it seems like he reaches for something. Like he looks off screen and he extends his arm to something, and then shortly thereafter, the dog yelps in pain, and Hassan turns around, calls her a baby, and then tries to reassure the chat that she is spoiled, and then goes on to say that she's spoiled because his mother lets her, have free roam around the house. Now, he and the community are claiming that he didn't use a shock collar or anything, didn't like zap her, fucking Palpatine lightning blast her or anything like that. She got her dew claw stuck on that spot, and that's what made her yelp in pain. Dog lore breakdown, if you're not familiar with how those creatures function or anything. The dew claw is separate from like the paw pad area claws. The dew claw is a little higher up on the leg. And
Charlie's so lazy that he doesn't even put in like images of a dog paw. Like he's so fucking lazy he doesn't even do this. Dog leg anatomy. Dew claw. He's so fucking lazy he doesn't even do this. Like throw a picture of what it is. He's such a fucking lazy, like this content is unwatchable. Millions of views for this slop. Lowest effort slop I've ever seen.
An old trait from back way in yesteryear when dogs needed that extra claw. It is just now an evolutionary leftover. It's still present, but it's not something that obviously gets utilized by dogs to the same degree it used to.
Why are you watching it? Because somebody needs to tell the truth about this guy. What do you want me to do?
a sensitive area. That is, if you've ever cut your dog's nails, or if you've ever taken your dog to like a dog salon or something and they like gave your dog a nail trim, you probably noticed that when it comes to the dew claw, they're very, defensive on it, like cautious, because it is such a tender spot. I have watched this clip like fucking 10 or 15 times now. And today I had some friends come in from out of town, so obviously I've been out most of the day at the farm, and this was actually a conversational topic. It's become so big that it was brought up by them. And every single person, and pretty much everyone I've seen online outside of Hassan and Hassan's community, is all saying the same thing. That yes, it looks like the dog does like touch its leg to that spot on the bed, but it doesn't look like it gets caught or anything. So it feels very unlikely that that is what caused the dog to scream in pain. Like, I don't think that's
Scream now! Scream in pain now! Scream now! What? Again, okay, we're at 11:21. Let's see the clip.
Opportunity for you to down.
Anything street.
Absolute worst.
Oh, sorry, that's earlier when he told her to go back to her bed. She was getting up and he said, no, go back to your bed. Did he actually show the clip? Okay, hold on.
In general, which is Hassan and his dog.
But it is emblematic of all of America's much more consequential violence, okay? It's the same reason as to why America, Kaya, please just fucking just stop.
That was screaming in pain. Let's go back.
Everyone I've seen online outside of Hassan and Hassan's community is all saying the same thing. That yes, it looks like the dog does like touch its leg to that spot on the bed, but it doesn't look like it gets caught or anything. So it feels very unlikely that that is what caused the dog to scream in pain. Like, I don't think that's what made Kaya, that's her name. It doesn't seem to get caught or snagged on anything, and dew claws aren't so sensitive and so tender that even touching them would cause like a panicked scream or anything. Unless she has an injury there, but I don't think Hassan has mentioned that, at least not that I've seen. So it feels to me very unlikely that that's what caused it, based on everything that we can see. Now, initially, even Hassan's community was starting to question, did he just use a shock collar on stream? And the clip instantly started going viral, and he kind of downplayed it and shrugged it off as like, oh, a bunch of bad actors attacking me for some fucking phony baloney, barnacles here, unbelievable, this is all a load of fish paste. And instead of doing what I think most people, like not even just streamers, just normal people would do, of like showing, no, look, it's not a shock collar, obviously I didn't shock my dog, he instead just brushes it off saying, nope, it's not a shock collar, you're stupid for thinking that it is. And that's the attitude that his community had as well, like, oh, you must have psychosis if you think it's a shock collar. Which I think is a little odd, because it's the easiest thing in the world to prove. You have all these people saying this shit, it's not true. Well, it takes, like, actually...
Okay, so this video was posted 14 hours ago. Let's go over to twitch.tv/Hasanabi. Past broadcasts. Go to yesterday. Okay. When? Do you guys remember exactly when he showed it?
It also has a one.
Oh, here we go.
This is the one that they saw. It has the capacity to vibrate, and that's it. Are you happy? That's it. There's the air tag. There's the fucking...
Okay, so that was 24 hours ago. So Hassan showed it 24 hours ago, and Charlie posted this video 14 hours ago. So why didn't Charlie say, oh, we saw the video, we saw the collar, it doesn't appear to be a shock collar, it doesn't have prongs? I called Hassan, and now we're going to go to our conversation. Hassan, what model of collar is it?
Look here, these are the contact points. Even if I were to take off this contact point, so I'm just going to take off one. So let's say I took it off trying to pretend like I didn't have contact points there to begin with. They're not called prongs, they're contact points. There's still a screw there that can't come off. This does not come off. That indicates that there's supposed to be a contact point, right? And if you look at Hassan's collar, there is no screw, it is flat. So that indicates to me that it isn't one of the collars that shocks. If you go to the website, the Mini Educator website, they do have a plethora of different kinds of collars. And one of the collars is just a vibrate collar. So you won't have any contact points and won't have any way of putting contact points on there, because that's just not what the collar does. So no, he didn't take these off and sit there and try to pretend like there wasn't any contact points there to begin with. There just wasn't any contact points there.
So we have TikTok twinks doing far better journalism than a guy who gets 1.7 million views.
3 seconds just to unclip that caller and just show, like, hey guys, I don't want anyone to get the wrong idea here. This is not a shot caller.
Hassan showed the caller 24 hours ago. This video was posted 14 hours ago. Charlie, you are the laziest piece of shit I've ever seen. And you are a terrible, terrible person. Like, that's literally all I can say. Like, if you're going to go and slander someone that you know without doing a bare modicum of research so you can join in on a fucking Reddit brigade that is set up with two people, bad faith Nazis pushing a lie and Zionists and a bunch of rubes who got tricked. And instead of staying, what a platform is for me to stand up here and tell you what you don't want to hear. My job is to come up here and say, this is what the truth is. That's my job. Otherwise, I shouldn't be up here. If I come up here and just tell you what you want to hear 24/7, what do you need me for? Just go whisper to yourself in the fucking mirror. What a loser.
Kaya, please just fucking go. Just stop. Jesus Christ.
Bambi. No, Bambi. There you go. Sit. When I said no and I gave a correction on a 17, she stopped what she was doing and she came to me.
We're not getting anything, and now here we should start seeing something. There we go. Okay, now if I go to a 4, watch. 4, he'll get him. Yeah, good boy. Good boy.
Oh, there it is. Okay, there it is.
Here we go. We're gonna touch. Yes, and we're gonna pay her.
Tap, 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 tap. Yeah, good girl, that's me. He's pulling a little bit, he wants to go. So I'm like, yeah, good boy. You could see there was a little bit of turn back there. And then, okay, 9.
Kaya, please just fucking go. Just stop.
That's it. I mean, like, that's it. She kind of turned her ankle, which is what I think happened. The dew claw, exactly what happened doesn't matter. The dog was not injured. It's like rolling your ankle for a second. That's it. Like, you guys are just making shit up. And this is the thing about these dumb fucks, is you should not trust them on literally anything they say or do, because they're too lazy and stupid to do it the right way. They're too lazy to do this shit the right way. And here is Charlie with the guy, Count Dankula, who traded his pug to do a Nazi salute. Outrageous man trades Hitler dog to perform Nazi salutes and react to phrase gas the Jews. And Charlie was happy to bring him on for an interview. Say, what's your perspective on this? But he's going to just spread right-wing lies about Hassan. Confusing. I wonder why.
Look, here's what it is, and then explain it. Like, I feel like even a non-streamer, like a complete normie, average Joe Schmo, if you went to their house and saw that happen, or like, hey, did you just shock that dog? They'd be like, oh my God, no, this is clearly a misunderstanding. No, that's not what happened. Like, and I feel like most people would be very quick to show you and prove that it's not.
Again, he showed you, Charlie, he showed you 10 hours before you posted this video, you lazy fuck. Now, I'm the only one who gets to speak like this. Hassan would never speak like this. I'm the only one. I don't like these people and they don't like me. Good. Fuck them. Oh no, the guy who likes Count Dankula is gonna say Mike from PA is so mean.
Caller, there are sound. There's the AirTag. There's the fucking vibrate.
Kristi Noem wrote in her 2024 memoir that she shot and killed her 14-month-old wire-haired pointer named Cricket. Where's the outrage? There was. But again, they don't give a shit.
A shock collar because it's so quick and so easy to do. And the fact that he doesn't is odd. Like, it is very peculiar. Why wouldn't you in the moment? Like, that's such a natural thing to do, especially for what's easily a slam dunk. Like, you have all these people attacking you, you could easily just come out and fucking slam jam thank you ma'am on them by just being like, nope, it's not a shot collar, look, here you go, the proof is in the pudding, behold. Like, it'd be so quick, so simple, and it would be irrefutable. That didn't
well, he did do this 12 hours before you made the video.
Happen yesterday. Instead, it was kind of brushed off as like, you've got to be fucking stupid to think that Hassan would shock his dog on stream, and he just kind of propped it up as like, the only people that would believe this are like bad people in the first place, or like, grifters, this kind of thing. And I just find that
because that's who pushed it. And you're a grifter. You're a grifter as well. You could have picked up the phone and be like, hey man, do you want to come on? This thing about you and your dog is really blowing up. And I would like to give you the opportunity to correct the record because I know that you say you didn't shock her. So I would give you the opportunity to do that. I'm making a video on it. I mean, what's so hard about that, right? Hassan would do that if you know, Charlie ever had a scandal like this. I'm sure Hassan would do that. It's called basic common sense. 2 years of Israel committing genocide, and Gila still thinks Israel is synonymous with Jew. Yeah, it's exactly what I'm saying. Yikes.
Just be so disingenuous because most people are going to see this and it looks like you shock your dog. Given how annoyed you are with the dog, and right before she yelps out in pain, you roll your eyes, you look at something off screen, you clearly are like, you are reaching off screen, that is very clear, and then the dog yelps while you were still annoyed, and then instead of doing like what I feel like most dog owners would do, would like check to...
By the way, all of this is just, he's just cooking. He's just completely making it up. He's reaching, he's fantasizing, he's reading comments, he's not examining the video. He's just saying shit. He's narrative spinning. That's it. Like, what are you talking about?
See, like, is everything all right? Why'd she just yelp in pain? Instead of doing that...
See, under the table, Charlie is Zig Heiling Hitler. We just can't see it, but you can see his... Why else would his hands be underneath the table? If you think about it, he must be Zig Heiling Hitler under the table. Oh, wait, is that just making up bullshit? That's not based on anything and not provable and not disprovable? Like, what are you talking about, man? You're just making shit up.
Calling her a baby and then mentioning how spoiled she is about roaming the house. Like, that doesn't compute. If this was her dew claw getting stuck there and then
By
yelping...
the way, he didn't say the word roaming around the house spoil. He said his mom spoiled her. He didn't say roam around the house. You made it up! You made it up!
In pain, you would have no idea why she's yelping. Why is your first instinct to call her a baby and then mention how spoiled she is about, you know, your mom letting her roam the house? The response to it just doesn't really seem to make sense. What happened is her dew claw getting stuck there. I just don't see why he would respond that way, like so... like aggressive about it. It just doesn't really make sense. Now, a bunch of super sleuths.
Okay, again, super sleuths. This guy is we didn't Reddit personified. Why is Charlie famous again? Like, he's like... I guess, okay, so he glitched Gears of War.
I've been on YouTube for almost 19 years, and I'm not kidding.
He had a sniper okay, so him playing game, like, when did he actually become popular? Like, what did he actually do?
What's up, everybody? It's Critical. I'm playing Smurf Rescue in Galgamer's Castle for the Atari 2600. I'm commentating this while I'm playing. Let's get this shit started.
I don't know. I guess I'm not. I guess. Hold on. Moist Critical. I guess I could like look at his wiki, huh? I feel like I've looked this up before, but then I was like brain dumped it. Okay, he was cited by TubeFilter as panning YouTube's new comment system. He just kind of got popular. Can't really put our finger on it.
Diving in, like really analyzing frame by frame. Apparently, Hassan has mentioned that she does have like an AirTag on her collar. People also saw like a doohickey underneath the AirTag right before the moment where she yelps, where there's like a green blinking gadget there, a little fucking gizmo. And people were speculating that's probably the shock collar. And now today, Hassan went on stream to show the collar and explain what it is that everyone saw.
This is the one that people are talking about. Okay, this is the one. This is
so Hassan did do all those things. Wait, okay, I'm sorry, Charlie. I didn't okay, wait. So he did show the collar before you made the video. Wait, how come you put all this narrativizing before he showed the collar in 100p?
This is the one that they saw. It has the capacity to vibrate, and that's it. Are you happy?
Why is this low res as fuck?
There's the AirTag. There's the fucking vibrator. It also has a flashlight component to it at nighttime, and it also has a tracker on it when she gets lost. If she were to actually get fucking lost,
So on stream, he was showing that the unit everyone saw is something that can only vibrate, it can't shock. It also has like other things like a flashlight and stuff. And then he went on to explain like why he has a vibrator there for the sake of like training and that kind of thing. Now, since this was a day later, obviously people are going to be wondering, is this real? Like, is he telling the truth? Like, you could have swapped it out. You could have changed out the previous model with one that doesn't have shocking capabilities.
That's why we don't speculate needlessly when we have no proof. That's why we don't. You like, see, you didn't actually see the dog get shocked. Someone told you that. They made it up. They speculated that. The only evidence we have is that there is a collar. Here is the collar. It looks identical to the collar that she was wearing yesterday. There is no evidence he shocked shit. You made it up, you fucking worm. God damn, when somebody gets raped, this guy is like, well, can we really believe her? But somebody just makes shit up about a dog being shocked because of a Yelp, and this guy's completely okay with it. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? No one was in the room, man, but Hassan and the dog. You've made it up.
Because there are vibrate-only units, and there are some that have vibrate and shock, something he also mentions that those kind of things do exist. But since this was so far after the fact, people are always going to wonder, well, did he just switch it out? And something else that spawned from this is...
Okay, but that's just making it up. You don't have any proof. This is why debate purgatory ruins brains, because these fuckers have never learned how to appreciate what they do know and what is speculation. And this is what a fraudulent dipshit does. You don't know. You are they made that up. The shock is made up. Somebody said it kind of looks like that. That's not something you know happened. You think you see that. You think you saw that. Somebody created a narrative. They made it up, Charlie. If we go back to the very first person who posted the video, they didn't know that the dog was shocked. They don't know that. Nobody knows that. This is the difference between knowing something and thinking you see something. If you think you see something and then you glom onto it, you're a fucking idiot. The only evidence we have is, here is the collar. It is a collar that vibrates. It looks identical to the collar we saw yesterday. That's all we'd actually know. And if you think there's anything different, you're a fucking moron, because we have so many people that have met Kaya and she's never been shocked. Nobody has directly testified Kaya was shocked. It's just made up. This is actually the most bullshit scandal I've ever seen in my life. Actually, total bullshit. This is post-truth. This is completely post-truth. Like, there is no aspect of it at all that is true. None whatsoever. None. And trust me, if Hassan was shocking his dogs, I'd have a big problem with it. I would be like, dude, that's not even effective training. What are you doing? We have a 9-month sub committing to the smear. Yeah, because unfortunately, they're emotionally stupid. Anatolian, all, you're stupid. You have what's known as anchoring bias. Somebody told you something and you anchored onto it. And now you felt a certain type of emotion. You connected it to the deception. And now you've been tricked and you're embarrassed that you've been tricked. Here's what you need to do. Grow up. I get tricked too. It happened to me a few months ago. I thought a video was AI that was actually real. And I went through the stages of grief on stream. Sometimes we get tricked. None of us are infallible. Every single one of us can see something, think it looks like AI, anchor to the idea that it's AI, and then later, because it turns out it's actually real. And I was wrong. No, it wasn't AI. And what do? You know what, guys? I made a mistake. I thought that was AI. I didn't trust the source, but it turns out it's been investigated by reliable sources, and it's true. It's a real video. It's not that hard.
It looks like there's tape on it. So when you watch it and you like pay attention to the actual, it looks like there is just some black tape on it. And a bunch of people online started to try and find out what brand this is, because I don't know if I missed it and everyone else missed it.
Guys, we did it, Reddit! We did it, Reddit! We did it, Reddit! He's the we did it Reddit guy, unironically. He is the we did it guy, unironically. Like, that is Moist Critical. It's incredible what clout and a little bit of money can do for a person's psyche. Like, this is legitimately stupid. There's the collar. Vibration only.
But I don't think he mentioned what model this is, like what brand or what model, anything like that. So people don't know what it is.
Why don't you call him, you fucking idiot? Like, it's so incredible to me. Like, do you ever sit back and think like, God, there's newspapers that have like 10,000 people that read them. And before anything is published, like the editor sits down, reads the article, says, why do you know this? What's your source of this? Like the absolute stupidity of being moist critical. Subliterate. Well, I mean, he's been streaming since he was like 12 and he never matured. Subnormal.
Is they're just going to have to like take his word for it that this is a vibrate only unit, and since there's no visible prongs, you're led to believe that it can't shock or anything. However, there are shock collars that have detachable prongs. In fact, the shock collars we use on Skill Check channel when we play Magic the Gathering and make a misplay and we shock ourselves, you can take the prongs off of those. I think that's a pretty standard feature in a lot of shock collars, I think. So like you can just take the prongs off. When you increase the brightness here, it does seem like there's definitely tape. I've seen this picture floated around a lot, and people believe
when you increase the brightness, which he did not do, he took this he's so fucking stupid.
Believe that they have narrowed it down to a model called the Educator ET400, which seems to match it visually 1-to-1 in all aspects except for the bottom side there, where on the ET400 there are 2 prongs there. You can take those prongs off from what I can tell, at least on.
From what I can tell from at least online. Where is our twink? Did I close the twink tab? Fuck, where's the investigatory twink? Fuck. I think the most important thing to understand is these people do not give a shit about the truth. They do not give a shit about the truth whatsoever. You have to understand that they're just having fun watching us scramble and Hassan's reputation get damaged. That's it.
Even if I were to take off this contact point, so I'm just going to take off 1. So let's say I took it off trying to pretend like I didn't have contact points there to begin with. They're not called prongs, they're contact points. There's still a screw there that can't come off. This does not come off. That indicates that there's supposed to be a contact point, right? And if you look at Hassan's collar, there is no screw, it is flat. So that indicates to me that it isn't one of the collars that shocks. If you go to the website, the Mini Educator website, they do have a plethora of different kinds of collars. And one of the collars is just a vibrate collar. So you won't have any contact points and won't have any way of putting contact points on there because that's just not what the collar does. So no, he didn't take these off and sit there and try to pretend like there wasn't any contact points there to begin with. There just wasn't any contact points there.
Let's look at our investigatory genius.
Line. And inside there, a model called the Educator ET400, which seems to match.
Or it could be the ET PG302 that matches 1-to-1 and it doesn't have prongs.
It visually 1-to-1 in all aspects except for the bottom side there, where on the ET400 there are 2 prongs there. You can take those prongs off from what I can tell, at least online, and in the Hassan clip, there's a bunch of tape there.
Man, what would it take to make this guy, I don't know, investigate an ICE raid or, the Israeli bombing a hospital or, thousands of children dying?
Potentially would be there to cover up the holes. I don't really know what else there would be tape there for. I don't really get that. Like, it doesn't make a ton of sense. But of course, I have no way of knowing 100% beyond a shadow of a doubt that Hassan shocked Kaya on that stream or anything like that.
Wait a minute. 18 minutes in and you've said, I don't know 100%, blah, 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 blah. You mean you have no evidence at all that he shocked her on stream other than, well, he reached off camera and she made a yip noise while stepping on and twisting her ankle. Like, what? You have actually no evidence. It's completely invented. You have no fucking evidence at all. Actually, none.
Like that. But based on the old eyeball test, the old smell test, what you can literally see, he is annoyed with.
I have been a Hassan viewers a year. That being some of the evidence is compelling. No, it's not. You're stupid. And I actually don't mean that. I want you to really hear me. You're stupid. Now, it's not a permanent affliction. You were just never taught critical thinking or what evidence is. You have confused speculation and inference to actually knowing things. Actually, inference is too high of a level of confirmation that what you're at. I don't want to have rose-tinted glasses when it comes to Assad. I don't care about your personal stupidity and your own emotional crap. No one cares. Shut the fuck up. I don't care if you don't want to have rose-tinted glasses. You don't know anything. I also aware that his detractors were foaming at the mouth for anything to throw at him. So in other words, you understand there's a bunch of bad faith actors lying on Hassan. And your response is, well, I found you compelling. And you have no proof. God damn, dude. Get your shit together. The moment Hassan showed the collar, it should have ended immediately. It was baseless speculation. But the moment he showed the collar, that's over. Because there's no more argument. You now have to spit a whole bunch of conspiracy theories to keep your theory up. Like he had another collar. And he's been shocking her the whole time, but never in all the years she's been on stream. It's never happened before. And all the people that's visited her and petted her on the neck in front of the camera, none of them have ever noticed the prongs. And all sorts of animal rights activists who've been on his stream have never objected. You have to spit a whole bunch of fucking conspiracy theory bullshit. Just admit you got tricked. And you'll do better next time. And yeah, everybody yesterday who was telling me like, oh no, Mike, why are you talking about this? It doesn't matter. Fuck you. You're stupid. Do you understand that you're stupid? Do you understand that I understand the internet a lot better than you do? And you're going to keep quiet about what I cover and when? Charlie, voice critical mod, says that Hassan had it coming under conspiracy theory post suggesting Hassan uses shock collar. I've never seen a post on here get 8 reports before. Hassan fans stay seething. This day has been coming for a long time. What day? What really comes down to is Charlie is worried that we're going to cancel him because he's a Nazi. You know, like he had a Nazi friend on his podcast. And that eventually it's going to come out that he's actually a right-winger. And like, so he thinks that he could like cancel, if he just cancels the left, he'll be protected and no one will ever care. That's what it really is about.
Kaya, he expressed it a couple of times, scolded her. He rolls his eyes. He does reach for something off screen. And as he is reaching, it seems like when he finally gets to something, she yelps in pain. And then there's no real like concern from him and instead talks about why she's like a spoiled baby. I don't see anything that she could have like hurt herself on. It doesn't seem like her dew claw or anything gets tangled up in the bed. To me, it feels like it is something he did.
To me, it feels like, well, with that level of evidence, how could I possibly disagree? To me, it feels like, how could I possibly disagree? Just wanted to add, this is not Charlie's first time. He rode the Pokey hate train years ago, as well as the same right-wingers were pushing for. What, he's done it a million fucking times. What are you talking about? He went after me. He went after iDubbbz. He went after Pokey. Like, what are you talking about? He's done this so many fucking times. You guys are just children that have been watching this guy for a while. That's it. So you liked him from his, I don't know why. Like, I literally asked, like, what made this guy famous? I do not understand. I do not know. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Yes, the classic feeling defense. Well, I felt that it looked like it, and I had a feeling. Oh, you're being mean to me. You're attacking my feelings. Oh, you're making me feel bad. Oh, you're not being nice in the way that I slandered you. I spread this narrative. You were abusing your dog on stream and saying how you force your dog to stay on frame. Oh, and now you're attacking me. Oh, like ultimately, like, why am I annoyed about this? I'm annoyed about this because I was right about this guy for years, and I got so much shit for just saying this guy's a right winger. Aspen Gold's a right winger. Who else did I say was an obvious right winger? Fuck, what's his name? He fell off so much I can't even remember his name. Esfand, yeah. I was like, these guys are obvious right wingers. I found critical when I was in middle school. The manner in which he speaks was very humorous to me back then. Not a fan of him framing this, though. Not a fan anymore. Yes. Yeah. I mean, I get a 14-year-old boy liking his video game content, I guess. But now that you're an adult man, maybe it's time to do the unsubscribe. Mike, also not gonna lie, I don't believe it because one, I watched the stream, and two, because of where it's all coming from. That should be a major red flag. Wait a minute, Doodleburb, you're saying it should be a... Wait. You're saying, this is news to me, that if right wingers like Ethan Klein and Destiny and Asmongold are pushing a lie about you, that maybe left wingers should not join in the pile on? Huh? Because when it happened to me like a month and a half ago, there was an opposite fucking opinion. Weird.
Even if it's not a full-blown shock, you didn't get her with like a Dungeons & Dragons lightning bolt or anything like that. If it is a vibrate-only unit, I feel like he definitely did press the vibrate in that instance there. I see nothing else that would cause that yelp here from...
I see nothing else. You're not there. You can't see shit. What the fuck are you talking about?
He actually removed the prongs. I just want to show you how easy that is.
The prongs are still there, sir.
It's that easy, guys. And he taped it. And also, he actually removed...
Wait, but you own the collar. It's so funny. People will be like, I can't believe Hassan shocked this dog. Here's my many shock collars that I own. Let me show you all the shock collars that I own. See, I can't believe Hassan shot. Look at the shock collar I have. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Also, disproving. Oops.
Everything that we can clearly see. And if that is the case, and that, to me, that's what it seems like the case is, that's super fucked up. She didn't do anything wrong. I don't think there's anything to warrant him being upset in the first place. And to be upset enough to press a, correctional button on that device is so beyond fucked. There was no bad behavior or any kind of correction.
Dog training expert. He can put that right next to his high school diploma. Oh, wait, does he have one? I don't know. It doesn't, I mean, honestly, Q factor seems like is not beneficial to this man. And I certainly don't see any P factor making it up.
Or punishment needed to be doled out there. All she did was move on the bed.
You're making it up. You've made this all up, Charlie. You don't have a view of his hand squeezing things. You don't have testimony of somebody saying, I saw him do it. You have his hand was off screen. That's all you have. You've made all of this up in your mind, you embarrassing loser. You fucking fraud.
Slightly move off the bed. I think it's super fucked up. But if this is all wrong, it's all a bunch of
Now, all I'm saying is we need to leave room to look at the situation objectively. That's my entire point. You don't see the collar shock her. You don't see Hassan's hands doing it. All we've seen is she yelped and she went back to her place. That's it. Because she put all of her weight on one leg and turned her ankle. And we've seen the collar. And it does not have prongs. At the end of the day, and by the way, people set out 15 different models of shock collar pretending it was the one. Like, that's literally the reality. That's literally the reality that we have. It is just invented. You just invented things. You don't have any evidence of anything. And in fact, when people provide actual evidence showing you the collar, you just make up more bullshit in your head. So you have actual evidence. This is the problem that we have in politics in America today. We have actual evidence against shit idiots made up. Like, that's literally what's going on again. Donald Trump is in office because people just make shit up and they ignore the facts. They deny climate change. They deny the Palestinian genocide. They deny income inequality. They deny that our country's falling apart because you go outside and you can fucking see it. They deny it. They say we're richer than ever. I go to the grocery store, the prices are higher than ever. They deny it. Donald Trump is making America great again. And I will absolutely not tolerate not one of you. If you're not capable of understanding what you actually know and what you don't know, you are really hurting. And if you're one of those people who doesn't care about spreading lies, you're morally defunct.
And Hassan didn't shock or vibrate or do anything at all here to cause Kaya to yelp in pain. I think A, it would have been very easy to immediately in the moment prove that by just showing the collar, which again, I feel like is the most logical thing most people would have thought to do. But also B, I still think all of his anger and annoyance at the dog for moving.
You can't prove he didn't either. And this is the problem, dummy. You've just admitted, oops, you actually admitted it. If somebody makes shit up about you, like for example, I could say that you have 1 terabyte of child porn on your computer. If I said that, and then you say, here's my computer, and there's no evidence of child porn, and then everybody says, well, see, he could have deleted it all. He could have deleted it all. He could have deleted it all. You can't prove that he didn't delete it all. Well, then now we're just in making up whatever we want world. Either you have proof of the thing you're accusing him of, which you don't, and that's that. If you make an assertion that someone did a thing, you have to prove it beyond a reasonable doubt. And there is no evidence that Hassan shocked her at all. None.
Around off her place is just fucking...
As a longtime viewer, but this take from both sides, just because Kaya was shocked, you have no evidence Kaya was shocked. I'm not even going to go to the stupid idea of like, well, you know, I don't think that a shock collar is abuse and it's very commonly used by many millions of people, blah, blah. We don't even need to get into that. I don't use shock collars. I don't believe in them. But you have no proof that they are being used. And certainly right-wingers who believe in corporal punishment would be in favor of shock collars. Like, no right-winger is against shock collars or prong collars. They're not against them. Now, I have been persuaded over the course of maybe at some point in my life, I was okay with a choke collar or a prong collar or whatever. That is because they're used by some people in dog training. And I happen to believe that that is bad and wrong and possibly abusive. But certainly right-wingers don't give a shit.
Weird too. And then of course people were mentioning how Kaya's on stream 8 to 10 hours a day, and then just all of a sudden randomly he decides to shock her today. Yeah, great story you've got there, Buster. Really shows how stupid everyone's become. Everyone's really fucking dumb to believe in something like this.
Yes, because you don't have any evidence for it, Charlie, you dummy. You dumb fuck. You have she yipped and his hand was off screen. That's it. You are stupid for believing that he just randomly decided to shock her one day. You're dumb. And she's not on stream for 8 hours a day. She gets up all the time. She gets let out all the time. She gets water. But when she's sleeping or laying down, she lays down at her place because she's well trained, you fucking swamp goblin.
All just because he hasn't in the past on stream. And then, of course, people take it a step further, saying none of his friends have ever called him out for using a shock collar, thus this has to be...
This is what's known as circumstantial evidence, Charlie. It's evidence to describe the circumstances and say, does this make sense? Is it most straightforward outcome that he definitely shocked her? And it's like, well, he's had so many people that have played with Kaya, looked at her collar, examined her, spent time with him. None of them have ever remarked upon it. So that is evidence of the circumstances mitigating the possibility. Dumbass fuckface. It's not definitive proof. It's circumstantial. God damn, you're dumb as fuck. Like, this is legitimately why we have the crisis we have in American democracy today. Is people like Charlie don't even know how to think. They don't even know how to come to conclusions. They just 100% go off their gut and what is socially trending, which can be described in a 4-word sentence. We did it, Reddit. We did it, Reddit. Now, if you don't know what we did it, Reddit is, Reddit... During the Boston Marathon bombing, the Boston Marathon bombing is also the bombing where Ethan Klein sexually harassed an underage victim of the Boston Marathon bombing, where he zoomed into her when she was wearing athletic attire, say he wanted to rape her. But during the Boston Marathon bombing, or he wanted sexual assault, or he liked looking at her vagina. It's Ethan Klein Boston Marathon. You can go look at the video. But when the Boston Marathon bombing happened, a bunch of Redditors started to do amateur detective work, and they ended up blaming a totally innocent guy. They went and there was a Reddit mob that went after a totally innocent guy, and they all patted themselves on the back saying, we did it, Reddit. Here, let me show you. I'm sure it's been covered. One of the things I like to do, chat, is I like to show you evidence of what I'm saying. Sunhuli Tripathi was an American student who went missing March 16, 2013. His disappearance received widespread media attention after he was wrongfully accused by Reddit users to be a suspect in the Boston Marathon bombing. His body was found on April 23rd after the actual bombing suspects had been officially identified and apprehended. The Redditors wrongfully accused this guy of being the Boston Marathon bomber.
A load of, fucking horseradish. I think this is a very weak argument. Because I know if Hassan does use a shock collar, he would never let any of his friends see that. Because
I swear to God, he's going to get 2001 Mike to come out. He's going to get 2001 Mike to come out. High school Mike. Now, I am 41 years old, and I'll tell you, in 2001, high school, woo-wee, that was a different time. Does anyone think this man smell like, if you watch this and you think this is intelligent, this is conspiracy brain. This is pure conspiracy brain bullshit. Well, see, actually, the fact that none of his friends have come out and said anything is actually evidence that he did shock her, because clearly he would know that it's so wrong, so he would hide it and he would conceal it from all his friends, but then he would decide to randomly shock her on stream. I want you to know, Charlie, I know what you are. Fucking cowardly bitch.
he would know that they would call him out for it and give him shit for it, especially someone like, so they just wouldn't know. Thus, they wouldn't be able to call him out on it or anything like that. And this whole idea of making an assumption based on things that are outside of...
FF's Mike, you've been yammering about Asmund for an hour and repeating yourself. He's a waste of time, and move on. This is not Asmund Gold. This is voice critical. What are you talking about?
What is clearly visible here...
Oh, yeah. Mike, please stop ripping up these assholes apart and proving them wrong and exposing their sloppy thinking and their stupidity and their laziness and their abuse of their platform when they slander your friend for the purpose of discrediting Hassan in front of normies. You're so dumb. Outside what is clearly visible here. Now, when I was in law school, a professor told me whenever somebody says clearly, they must immediately follow that sentence with empirical evidence or extrinsic evidence, or else that is a weak point of their case and you should drill down. Whenever somebody says clearly, that should put your radar dish up for bullshit. You're being lied to. Now,
expand the permission structure, and dogs need good guidance at every given moment. A lot of people who are like talking shit right now are completely oblivious to that reality. They've either never taken care of a pet, they've never actually taken care.
They may have owned the dog, but they didn't train their dog.
Of another living, breathing, organic thing, whether it be a fucking hamster or a dog or anything else. And for that reason, they just don't understand it. Overprotective, maybe. Abusive, laughable. Yes, I am very overprotective. I am perhaps a little bit too type A of a dog parent. If anything, I'm a little too hyper critical. But the reason why I do that is because I don't want to fuck up. Large dog, what were you reaching for in the clip? What do you think? That's where all my fucking Zintins are.
I think one of the things that really bothers me about all of this is it's just how stupid people are. Hey, Charlie, can you make a video about this?
This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report. I'm Mimi Goodman with Nermeen Sheikh.
Israeli forces intercepted another Gaza-bound humanitarian aid flotilla in the early hours of Wednesday morning that was attempting to break Israel's blockade and deliver humanitarian aid. The Freedom Flotilla Coalition and Thousand Madlenes to Gaza sent a fleet of 11 vessels with 150 people on board, including doctors. They initially said 3 boats were attacked in international waters 120 nautical miles off the coast of Gaza. Soon after, all boats were intercepted by Israel. This was the second such interception in the past week. Days before, Israeli forces intercepted about 40 vessels and detained more than 450 activists who were part of the global Sumud flotilla. Some of the activists abducted on the high seas reported physical abuse, humiliation, and inhumane treatment by Israeli soldiers. Detained activists aboard the global Sumud flotilla included the former South African Prime Minister Member of Parliament, Mandla Mandela, the grandson of Nelson Mandela. He was held in an Israeli prison for 6 days before being released via Jordan.
We were handcuffed with cable ties, tied tightly behind our backs, taken off our boats, and put on the platform, paraded for all the Israelis and the allies in Europe and the West and the global community to see. But it's nothing compared to what Palestinians have been subjected to on a daily basis. We were kidnapped on international waters. Palestinians are attacked, maimed, and killed, whilst many of our comrades were offered opportunity to shower. They ensured that the South African delegation was denied this. But we understood very well why that is so. Because we are a nation that dared through our government to take apartheid Israel to the International Court of Justice.
That was Mandla Mandela, the grandson of Nelson Mandela, after he was released from an Israeli jail, part of the Samud flotilla, now back in South Africa. We're joined in Paris by David Adler, co-general coordinator of Progressive International, who participated in the Gaza-bound global Samud flotilla before it was intercepted by Israeli forces. He's written a new piece for Jacobin, headlined, "I Spent 5 Days in Israel's Desert Prison." Welcome back to Democracy Now! David, we spoke to you on the high seas. Tell us what happened to you and what happened to the other flotilla activists before you were deported.
So last Wednesday night, in the early hours of the morning, we were violently...
Mike, have you seen this? Have any motion? It'd be a good idea. Oh, no. I know for a fact he's been on Hassan's stream. We're going to do everything we can to get this man elected. We are going to get Hakeem Jeffries out on his fucking ass.
Raided and abducted by Israeli naval forces in international waters. And over the coming hours, as was said by my comrade Mandla Mandela, we were taken to the port of Ashdod, where our belongings and boats were stolen from us and confiscated. They literally ripped jewelry, necklaces, rings, precious things out of our bags and belongings and threw them away or confiscated them without any access to them or demand that we could make on our own. And we were, put in positions of humiliation and paraded around for Ben Gvir and his friends to take a photo opportunity. At that point, they reached down and saw my passport, which had my full name, David Rashi Kremen Adler, and asked if I was Jewish. I said I was Jewish. They ripped me by the ear and forced me to bend down and stare at the flag of the State of Israel for Ben Gvir to come and have a personal one-on-one and call me a terrorist to my face. Over the coming hours, we were strip-searched, zip-tied, blindfolded, and disappeared into the Negev desert, into one of the most infamous Guantanamo Bay of Israel, Ketziot detention camps, 400,000 square meters, where many hundreds and thousands of political prisoners from Palestine have been held and tortured over the course of the past 30 years, and indeed since it was reopened in 2002, after they had to shut it down for repeated reports of serial human rights violations. Over the coming days inside that camp, we as internees, I should say, it wasn't a prison, it was an internment camp, suffered serial and systematic violations of our most basic rights. We had on and off no access to food, water, never a shower. The North Africans in particular were targeted for severe abuse and beatings, taken out of their cells with German shepherds and guns at their heads, and cuffed at the hands, cuffed at the ankles, blindfolded and put into isolation. We had to sort of try to rally as a cell block to get them back. And I must say, systematic deprivation of life-saving medicine, which includes insulin. One of the women in the cell blocks had such a severe kidney infection that she fainted twice and over 2 days was denied access to medicine. And these were just the most basic conditions that we endured over the course of our time in Ketziot, while we had no access to legal representation, while our families were left without any information about our whereabouts, about our health and existence, and needless to say, without any access or support from U.S. consular services.
Well, indeed, as far as the U.S. response has gone, the Trump administration's response earlier this week, on Monday, U.S. Ambassador to Israel Mike Huckabee took to social media to attack you, David Adler, personally, as a, quote, self-absorbed tool of Hamas. Your response?
My response is that we must break the myth that has been installed in so much of Hollywood propaganda that the United States State Department is out here to save, extract, and rescue you from wherever you are in the world. In fact, if you look at actually the different delegations that are part of this mission, the U.S. delegation was treated by far one of the worst by our own consular services. They did not arrive to the prison camp until maybe 4 days after our disappearance and detention in the middle of the Negev desert. And when they did, they said, you know what, guys, you're on your own. There's nothing we can do for you. You're in Israel's hands now. And I will say it did not stop there. The systematic abandonment by the State Department and the consular services. When we were eventually freed and deported to Jordan, we were dropped there. The other delegations that were there were greeted, welcomed, treated, hugged, put into hotels, given flights home. The U.S. consul told us, we are not your babysitters. We will not provide food, water, clothes, hotels, transportation. The most we can do for you is have the Jordanians drive you to the airport. We're going to drop you off without any cell phones or money. You are on your own. That is how our government thinks about us. They do not serve us. They serve the state of Israel, and they share what I would maybe describe as the Pete Hegseth school of international law, that due process is no process, and it doesn't matter that we never saw a judge, a jury, never saw our lawyers or a prosecutor. We're never charged with anything. This is just a fraction of what we know Palestinians who are still in these torture and detention camps, 11,000 of whom were taken from Gaza alone, let alone the West Bank.
Isn't it amazing how we're paying for all of this too? We're all paying for this. Every single one of us are paying for this. Mike, any advice about my partner being way better than me at video games? Like, I'm trying to keep up and have a good attitude, but I feel like dead weight. I feel like for you, it's never going to get better. You just need to accept that you're bad. Now, I don't know what that's like because I'm a gamer. But putting myself in your shoes, I would say just get good. You know, maybe kind of like think about the video game a little bit more systemically, like maybe get a better mouse, look around at different sensitivity settings, like maybe practice some aim trainers, maybe study the meta a little bit, you know, make sure you have a nice clear space. Now, I can game with, like, you know, for me, it comes naturally, but for you, I think you might need to put a little bit more effort in. Didn't Hassan carry you at Helldivers?
Hell diving with Carter Nessua and Mike from PA. Be diving into hell. I'm gonna be hell no.
Where's the right video? This isn't the right. That's a short. Hold on. We got to clear this up. Turret flattened me the most. Okay. First of all, notice that I extracted. That's the first thing I would notice. I extracted. Carter's over here. Hassan is dead over here.
All right, let's see these stats. I don't know. I never died to it. I literally got hit once, I think.
Now, this was when the game was brand new and we were level 10 or whatever the fuck. I rest my case. Hassan carried. Mike claims the game. Yeah, Mike games as much as Hassan games on stream. Never gamers hungry for content. Hey, he got pretty good kills for a noob. Pretty good. He did not bad. All right, what was I saying? What were we watching? Oh yeah, let's finish. Israel is an evil. We got distracted from a serious topic. Talk about gaming. Basically, Israel violates the law a million fucking times, and being an American didn't matter. Being part of, like, Israel feels like they have impunity. And in fact, they have more impunity than American soldiers and sailors even do, because America doesn't want to look bad, but Israel has the protection of America, and they don't care about looking bad. So I would actually say Israelis military has more impunity than even the American military. From a certain perspective, you could say that the U.S. is serving Israel.
Suffering on a daily basis. This is what happens to, you know, white Westerners, in my case, a Jewish.
I think that's been funny about this is how many he can put the collar on me tweets I've seen from Hasanabi heads this week. Oh, totally. Even not so many Hasanabi heads.
American humanitarian workers who are simply trying to deliver basic critical aid to the starving people of Palestine.
David Adler, we want to thank you very much for being with us, co-general coordinator of Progressive International, who participated in the Gaza-bound Global Samud flotilla before it was intercepted by Israeli forces. We'll link to your article, I Spent 5 Days in Israel's Desert Prison. That does it for our show. I'll be speaking in Santa Fe, New Mexico on October 17th after the showing of the film about Democracy Now!, Steal This Story, Please. That's at the Lensic Theater, October 17th. On October 18th and 19th, the film will show at the Woodstock Film Festival. And I'll be speaking along with the Oscar-nominated filmmakers of Steal This Story, Please, Tia Lesson and Carl Deal, and Karen Ranucci, the producer. I'm Amy Goodman with Nermeen Sheikh. You can check our website at democracynow.org.
All right, chat.
Thanks for watching Democracy Now!
Thank you for watching. I'm going to call it a little bit earlier. We're going to be, I think the Hasanabi dog drama is pretty much going to now be dissipating. So I think we can get back to like regular news. So we'll be back tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific. Hope you enjoyed the content. Sorry I spent so much time railing about Moist Critical, lack of Moist uncritical thinker. And all in all, I don't like these motherfuckers. Okay, before we go, hold on. Oh God, please be an old account. Okay, reasonably old. Does Hassan bother wiping before you toss his salad? You are a homosexual scat fetishist. Like, this is you. Oh, we gotta know. We gotta know more. I gotta know more. I gotta know more. One more for the road, chat. God, one more for the road. I think you might have a psychosexual fixation on Hassan, bro. This is your Hassan ult. Yo! This is your Hassan ult. Yo, and it's you come into my chat to make comments about having sex with Hassan. Yo! All right, chat. Thank you so much for hanging out. No more Hassan dog talk tomorrow. I appreciate all of you. Thank you for hanging out. I'll see you all tomorrow. Same time. Here's all my links. I might post a TikTok about it as well. But god damn, is it embarrassing. And again, don't let people convince you that, oh, I'm just trying to be good faith and investigate. No, they're not. They are liars. They're clout farmers and they're disgusting pieces of shit. Period.